family farm, the true tree of the immortal dragon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 376, 50 Years Auction. A waiter in a green robe came up to us and said respectfully, "Dear guests, welcome to the Holy Dao Pavilion. What do you need?" After Ye Changsheng briefly introduced their needs, the waiter smiled and said, "You guys have come to the right place. Our Holy Dao Pavilion has everything you need, from elixirs to magic weapons, formations, talismans, elixirs, ores, etc., etc. on the first floor. For second level foundation building products, the second floor is at the Zifu level, and the third floor is at the Daoting level. Since you guys need fourth level magic weapons, please follow me to the third floor." Following the guidance of the waiter, the 5 people arrived at the magic weapon area on the third floor. The space here is more spacious, and there are all kinds of rare treasures that are dazzling to see. Ye Changsheng said to the waiter, "Please ask the shopkeeper to come over. We want to see the 4th level low grade flying sword." After a while, a middle-aged man wearing a luxurious robe came over. He said with a bright smile, "A few distinguished guests, I'm the shopkeeper here. My surname is Lee. I heard that you want to see the 4th level low grade flying sword." Seeing Ye Changsheng nod, shopkeeper Lee immediately ordered his men to fetch 10 4th level low grade flying swords. He began to introduce them one by one. This flying sword named U-0027 Changsheng U-0027 is made of thousands of years of cold iron as the main material, supplemented by several rare spiritual materials. The sword's body is extremely cold, and once it is used, it can instantly kill people with a radius of 100 feet. The temperature inside dropped below freezing. This U-0027 red flame U-0027 flying sword is made of red flame iron from volcanic lava. The sword body is burning with invisible flames all year round. If spiritual power is injected into it, it can eject a pillar of fire hundreds of feet long, which is astonishingly powerful. As for this U-0027 Zidian U-0027, it is forged from the Zixio divine iron in the 5 Thunder Mountains. As soon as this sword is released, it has the power of thunder. If used in thunderstorm weather, the power will be doubled. After listening to the shopkeeper's introduction, the 4 ladies each selected their favorite flying swords. King Lianhang chose King Shuang, Shen Yufeng chose Red Flame, Hua Jiayu chose Purple Lightning, and Chu Yunnan chose a flying sword named Feng Zio. The prices of these 4 flying swords are 8 million spirit stones, 9 million spirit stones, 10 million spirit stones and 12 million spirit stones respectively. Next, the 4 ladies each picked a shield. King Lianhang chose the Zuanbing shield, Shen Yufeng chose the Fire Sun shield, Hua Jiayu chose the Thunder shield, and Chu Yunnan chose the Blue Wave shield. The price of these shields ranges from 15 million to 30 million spirit stones. Finally, they each purchased a 4th order low grade flying boat. King Lianhang's is the King Iron, Shen Yufeng's is the Fire Phoenix, Hua Jiayu's is the Zixio, and Chu Yunnan's is the Bibo. The price of these flying boats ranges from 30 million to 60 million spirit stones. When shopkeeper Lee reported the total price, Ye Changsheng couldn't help but be surprised. These magic weapons cost him more than 300 million spiritual stones in total. Although it was nothing to him now, this huge number still made him feel a little painful. "Husband, how about we stop buying it?" Shen Yufeng noticed the change in Ye Changsheng's expression and said a little uneasily. Ye Changsheng shook his head and showed a gentle smile. "It's okay, you have just broken through to the Taoist realm, and you really need some magic weapons. These are what you should do." After saying that, he happily paid the spirit stone. Seeing the happy expressions of the 4 ladies, Ye Changsheng's reluctance immediately disappeared. After leaving Shengdao Pavilion, Ye Changsheng secretly thought it seems that he should also go to Xiangang to buy some magic weapons that he can get hold of. However, once you reach the 4th level Daoting realm, the cost does go up all of a sudden. Fortunately, I have various means of making money, so I can support so many wives and children. Looking at the four beauties overflowing with happiness around him, Ye Changsheng's heart was filled with warmth. He secretly made up his mind to practice harder and create a better life for them. After leaving Shengdao Pavilion, Ye Changsheng took the four ladies on the way back to Yangxiao Pavilion. Along the way, the four beauties happily discussed their new magic weapons. With happy smiles on their faces, Ye Changsheng saw this, and his heart was filled with warmth. He felt that, although the cost was huge, it was worth it. Back at Yangxiao Pavilion, Ye Changsheng was about to take the four girls into the room to rest. Suddenly, a foundation building monk wearing a waiter's clothes walked over quickly and bowed respectfully. "Senior Ye, I'm the introducer of Holy Way Auction House. In half a month, our Holy Way Auction House will hold its 50th annual auction. I wonder if Senior is interested in participating." The waiter said respectfully. Ye Changsheng raised his eyebrows slightly, indicating for him to continue. The waiter quickly explained, "This year's auction is an unprecedented event. All kinds of rare products will be auctioned. It is said that there will be a final auction of 10 5th level treasures at the last minute, which is definitely a major event in the world of cultivation. A grand event. If seniors are interested, I suggest you book a private room in our auction pavilion tomorrow to ensure you can enjoy the best auction experience." After hearing this, Ye Changsheng turned to look at the four ladies and asked for their opinions. The four girls all looked excited when they heard this and expressed their desire to participate. "In that case, let's participate," Ye Changsheng said to the waiter. "I will book a private room tomorrow." The waiter was overjoyed when he heard this and thanked him profusely before respectfully leaving. The next day, Ye Changsheng came to the Shengdao auction pavilion as promised. On the third day, the decoration here was gorgeous, magnificent, and extraordinary. At the reception desk, Ye Changsheng spent 3 million spirit stones to book a high-end private room. This price made him a little stunned. Time flies, and more than 10 days have passed in the blink of an eye. The Holy Dao auction house opened as scheduled, and the whole Chengfeng city was boiling because of it. Ye Changsheng brought his four wives to the auction house early, but found that it was already crowded. Outside the auction house, the monks lined up in a long line waiting to enter. From time to time, flying boats landed in the air, and monks with extraordinary demeanor walked out of them. Ye Changsheng noticed that most of these people were high-level monks above the Purple Mansion. Many of them were Dao Court masters, and there were even a few 5th level Jade Tree masters who exuded a terrifying aura. Entering the auction house, Ye Changsheng couldn't help but be shocked by the scene in front of him. The huge auction hall was magnificent and could accommodate tens of thousands of people. There were hundreds of luxurious boxes around, each of which was shining with various colors of spiritual light, and it was obvious that they were all arranged with soundproof formations. In the center of the hall was a huge circular auction table with a huge light screen suspended above it, which could project the image of the auction items clearly to every corner. There were also dozens of waiters in uniform around the auction table, busy preparing for the auction. Ye Changsheng brought the four girls to the reserved box and found that it was decorated extremely luxuriously. Chapter 377. The auction begins. Soft spirit beast furs cover the ground. 3rd level spiritual paintings are hung on the walls, and there are various rare spiritual fruits for people to enjoy. The most eye-catching thing is the huge crystal table in the center, which is inlaid with complex formation patterns and can clearly display various information about the lot. I didn't expect that the auction house in Holy Peak City is so large. It is not inferior to the Imperial Auction House of the Han Dynasty, and is even better in some aspects. Ye Changsheng sighed. The four girls also nodded repeatedly, looking forward to the auction that was about to begin. As time went by, the atmosphere in the auction house became more and more lively, and everyone was looking forward to this grand event in the world of cultivation. The four ladies were full of curiosity and anticipation for this auction. As Ye Changsheng's eldest wife, Shen Yufeng, is well informed, but this is her first time to participate in such a high-profile auction. She sat elegantly next to Ye Changsheng, her eyes shining with excitement. King Lianhang seemed a little overly excited. She kept looking around, curious about everything in the box. "Brother Changsheng, look at the formation patterns on this crystal table. They are so exquisite," she pointed at the complicated patterns on the table. Chu Yunan paid more attention to the spiritual fruit in the box. She picked up a purple fruit that exuded a faint fragrance, took a bite, and her eyes suddenly lit up. The taste of this spiritual fruit is really amazing, even better than the ones in our Chu family's spiritual fruit garden. Hua Jiao became very interested in the spiritual paintings hanging on the wall. She stood in front of a landscape painting and carefully observed every detail in the painting. This painting actually contains a hint of the great avenue of heaven and earth. No wonder it can be called a third level spiritual painting. Ye Changsheng couldn't help but smile when he saw the excitement of the four ladies. He thought to himself that it was indeed the right decision to bring them to the auction this time. Half an hour later, the auction officially started. A pleasant voice sounded throughout the auction hall. Fellow Taoists, welcome to the Holy Dao auction house. This auction will be hosted by me. I'm Liu Mengli from the Holy Dao sect. As the voice fell, a female nun in a gorgeous dress appeared on the auction stage. She has a beautiful face, a graceful figure, and exudes infinite charm in every move she makes. Ye Changsheng was horrified to discover that this Liu Mengli was actually a powerful person in the late Tao court. I didn't expect that the Holy Dao sect would send such a powerful person to preside over the auction. It seems that the treasures being auctioned this time are not simple. Ye Changsheng thought to himself. After the auction started, the first things that appeared were some second level top-notch auction items. The most eye-catching ones were 10 foundation building fruits, which surprised Ye Changsheng. I didn't expect that even the foundation fruit would appear in the auction. It seems that the foundation of this holy peak city is indeed profound. Then, several second level top level magic weapons appeared, and each one attracted fierce bidding. But what surprised Ye Changsheng the most was a spiritual ascension grass, which was said to be able to improve amongst spiritual root qualifications. However, Ye Changsheng knew that the effect of this spirit ascension grass was not even close to that of the spirit ascension fruit he owned. An hour later, the auction entered the stage of third level auction items. Various rare spiritual herbs, elixirs, magic weapons, spiritual gold ores, puppets, formations, talismans, etc. emerge in endlessly, and each one is a fine product. In terms of spiritual herbs, the first thing that appeared was a third grade high grade 9-leaf Ganoderma grass. This kind of spiritual grass grows in dangerous places where there is a near-death situation. Every leaf contains rich vitality and can quickly restore the monk's injuries. Liu Mengli said that this 9-leaf Ganoderma lucidum grass has been growing for nearly 1,000 years and its medicinal effect is extremely amazing. Immediately afterwards, another fire phoenix grass appeared. This spiritual grass is fiery red in color, and its shape resembles a phoenix spreading its wings and about to fly. It is said that taking it can greatly enhance a monk's fire attribute spiritual power, making it a rare treasure for monks who practice fire-based skills. The last spiritual herb that caused a sensation was moonflower fairy lotus. This kind of spiritual grass only blooms when the moonlight is at its strongest. Its petals are like condensed moonlight, exuding a faint silver light. After taking it, it can enhance the strength of the monk's spiritual consciousness and have a great nourishing effect on the soul. In terms of elixirs, a variety of third level elixirs appeared at the auction. The most eye-catching one is the condensing yuan pill, which can help monks in the Zifu stage condense the Taoist court and increase the success rate of advancement. It can be said to be the best substitute for Daoting pill. I didn't expect it to appear in the third level auction items. However, the quantity of this kind of pill is very rare in the world of immortality. What everyone is pursuing is Daoting pill. There is also a spiritual transformation pill that can help monks better absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and increase the speed of cultivation. The last one is the building strengthening pill, which can stabilize the monk's foundation and is very helpful in breaking through the bottleneck of Zifu. In terms of magic weapons, there are also excellent products. A defensive magic weapon called 5-element Aegis attracted the attention of many monks. This magic weapon can automatically change the conflicting attributes for defense according to the attributes of the attack, and its defensive power is extremely amazing. Another offensive magic weapon called Star Sword exudes sharp sword energy and is said to contain a trace of star power. The last magic weapon called Void Mirror can be teleported over short distances and has great practical Value in battle. Next, the auction entered the stage of spiritual gold. The first thing that appeared was a piece of purple star meteorite the size of a fist. This spiritual gold, or is dark purple, with a silver star-like light on the surface. It is said to be extracted from meteorites from outer space. Liu Mengli introduced that the purple star meteorite is not only extremely hard, but also has extremely strong spiritual power conductivity, which is an excellent material for refining high-level magic weapons. This piece of purple star meteorite has been initially purified, and the purity is as high as more than 90%. The magic weapon refined with it is not only powerful, but also can better connect with the cultivator's mind and spirit, and exert a stronger power. Liu Mengli's words aroused the interest of many weapon refiners. Then, a piece of, or emitting a faint golden light was pushed up. Liu Mengli introduced, this is U0027 Sun Essence Gold U0027, which is a rare spiritual gold formed by absorbing the essence of the sun for countless years. It is not only extremely hard, but also contains rich fire attribute spiritual power. The magic weapon refined with it is not only powerful, but also can absorb the fire attribute spiritual power between heaven and earth by itself. It is an excellent material for refining fire attribute magic weapons. As soon as this piece of sun essence gold appeared, it caused a scramble among the monks. Especially those monks who practiced fire attribute techniques were eager to try. The last kind of spiritual gold, or is a piece of transparent, crystal-like strange ore. Liu Mengli introduced, this is U0027 Void Spirit Crystal U0027, which is an extremely rare space attribute spiritual gold. It can be used to refine space magic weapons, and even to arrange teleportation arrays. Although this piece of void spirit crystal is not large in size, it is extremely pure, enough to refine a top-grade space magic weapon. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 378. Exciting. This void spirit crystal caused a sensation immediately after it came out. Space magic weapons have always been rare and precious in the world of immortal cultivation. It is undoubtedly a rare opportunity to get such a high purity void spirit crystal. Then, the auction entered the puppet stage. The first one to appear was a humanoid puppet about 2 meters tall and silver white. Liu Mengli introduced, this is U0027 Silver Moon Guardian U0027, a third level top grade defensive puppet. It is not only extremely powerful and has amazing defense, but also can release a special moonlight barrier that can resist most attacks. The most rare thing is that this puppet also has a certain degree of autonomous consciousness and can make the best defensive posture according to the combat situation. Then, a puppet with a fiery red body and a tiger-like shape was pushed up. This is U0027 Flame Tiger King U0027, a third grade top grade attack puppet. It is not only extremely fast and powerful, but also can spit out flames comparable to third grade top grade fire spells. Most importantly, this puppet has extremely strong flexibility and can execute complex combat commands. The last puppet is a strange puppet shaped like a snake dragon. This is U0027 Phantom Dragon Snake U0027, an extremely rare third grade top grade illusion puppet. It can not only change its form, but also release powerful illusions to confuse the enemy. The most rare thing is that this puppet also has a certain concealment ability, which can be used for reconnaissance or assassination. The appearance of these three puppets amazed the monks. The next puppet to be auctioned. Each puppet has unique abilities and is priceless. Next, the auction entered the formation stage. The first formation to appear was a set of formations called 5-element Sealing Heaven Formation. Liu Mengli introduced, this array has 5 array plates corresponding to the 5 element of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. After the arrangement is completed, it can form a powerful third level superior defense array, which can not only resist the enemy's attack, but also absorb the power of the 5 element between heaven and earth to strengthen the array. The most rare thing is that this array also has a certain attack ability and can counterattack the enemy. Then, a set of seemingly ordinary array plates was pushed up. Liu Mengli smiled mysteriously and said, "Don't underestimate this array plate. This is U0027 Virtual and Real Illusion Array U0027, which is an extremely sophisticated illusion array, ranked as the 3rd level top grade. After the arrangement is completed, it can create a realistic illusion within a certain range to confuse the enemy. The most powerful thing is that everything in this illusion can cause real damage to the enemy. It is an excellent array with both offensive and defensive capabilities. The last set of arrays is a complex array consisting of 9 array plates. This is U0027 9 stars array U0027, an extremely mysterious 3rd level high grade spirit gathering array. After the arrangement is completed, the concentration of spiritual energy can be greatly increased within a certain range, which is very suitable for arranging the sect's residence or practicing cave. The most rare thing is that this array can also automatically adjust according to the changes in the celestial phenomena, always maintaining the best spirit gathering effect. The appearance of these 3 arrays dazzled the monks. Then auction other high level arrays. Each array has its unique use and is priceless. Finally, the auction entered the talisman stage. The first thing that appeared was a stack of golden talismans Liu Mengli introduced. This is U0027 Golden Light Body Protection Talisman U0027. A 3rd grade high level defense talisman. After activation, it can form a layer of golden light shield on the body surface, which can withstand the damage equivalent to the full strength attack of a late stage purple mansion cultivator. The most rare thing is that this talisman lasts for up to an hour, which is an excellent choice for saving lives. Then, a stack of talismans emitting a faint lightning light was pushed up. This is U0027 9 Heaven's Thunder Talisman U0027, a powerful attack talisman. After activation, it can summon 9 thunders, which are as powerful as the full strength attack of a mid-stage purple mansion cultivator. The most powerful thing is that this talisman not only has strong attack power, but also has a certain paralysis effect, which can temporarily affect the enemy's actions. The last type of talisman is a stack of seemingly ordinary white talismans. Liu Mengli smiled mysteriously and said, "Don't underestimate this talisman. This is U0027 Teleportation Talisman U0027, an extremely rare space talisman. After activation, it can be instantly teleported to any place within 100 miles. Although the conditions for use are somewhat harsh and the spatial coordinates of the destination need to be memorized in advance, it can have unexpected effects at critical moments. The appearance of these 3 talismans amazed the cultivators. The following exquisite talismans also have their unique uses and are priceless. Ye Changsheng and the 4 wives were overwhelmed by the sight, and every auction item amazed them. With the end of the 3rd level auction items, the auction entered the higher level 4th level Daoting level auction items. The first to appear was a 4th level inferior King Feng sword, with a green light flowing on the sword body and a sharp edge point. The next was a bottle of 4th level inferior Ningyuan pill, which is said to greatly increase the speed of cultivator's yuanli condensation. After taking it. Although these auction items are precious, they are not very attractive to Ye Changsheng and his group, who already have many 4th level magic weapons. Half an hour later, the auction began to introduce 4th level low grade monsters. The first one to appear was a flame lion, with a red body, like fire and a majestic appearance. The next one was a black ice bear, which was huge and exuded a biting cold air. There is also a purple electric dragon, which is slender and wrapped with purple electric light. Although these monsters are rare, they have not aroused special interest from Ye Changsheng and others. However, when the next monster was put on the auction stage, the whole audience suddenly became excited. It was a snow white mouse with eyes as bright as rubies, but its size was 100 times the size of an ordinary mouse. Liu Mengli introduced excitedly, "Dear guests, this is the legendary mythical beast, the sky swallowing rat. Although it is only a 4th level low grade beast, it has unlimited potential. It is said that the sky swallowing rat can swallow the essence of heaven and earth when it reaches adulthood, and can even swallow space. Not only does it serve as a powerful combat companion, it is also an excellent assistant for refining elixirs and refining weapons. The gastric juice of the sky swallowing rat has extremely strong decomposition ability and can decompose all kinds of heavenly materials and earthly treasures into the purest essence. In addition, the sky swallowing rat also has extremely powerful abilities. It is spiritually intelligent and can communicate with its master's mind, making it a perfect spiritual pet. Upon hearing this introduction, the monks present were very excited. Chu Yunan's eyes also shone, and she turned to Ye Changsheng and said, "Husband, this sky swallowing rat is perfect for me. I have always wanted to find a spiritual pet that can help me refine elixirs, and it is simply tailor-made for me." Ye Changsheng looked at his wife's expectant eyes, smiled and nodded. "Since you like it, let's give it a try." The auction started soon, and the starting price was as high as 100 million spiritual stones. The price climbed rapidly and soon exceeded the 200 million mark. Ye Changsheng was calm and collected, and followed the increase in price without any haste. Chapter 379 Colorful Divine Deer. When the price reached 250 million, there were not many competitors left. At this moment, a gloomy voice suddenly sounded, 300 million. The sudden high price caused an uproar in the audience. Ye Changsheng turned around and saw a middle-aged man with a sinister expression looking at him with a sneer. Chu Yunan pulled Ye Changsheng's sleeve nervously. "Husband, that's Huakayandu, the poisonous hand of the devil. He has always been ruthless and is not easy to mess with." Ye Changsheng patted his wife's hand comfortingly and said calmly, "Don't worry, I'm here." After speaking, he held up a sign, 310 million. A trace of anger flashed in Huakayandu's eyes, and he gritted his teeth and said, 320 million. Ye Changsheng remained calm and raised his sign again, 321 million. The scene fell into a stalemate for a while. Huakayandu stared at Ye Changsheng, seemingly weighing whether to continue to increase the price. In the end, he slammed the sign in his hand to the ground and left the auction house angrily. 321 million. First time. Second time. Third time. Deal. Liu. Mengli announced excitedly, "Congratulations to this young master for successfully photographing the sky-eating rat." Chu Yunan hugged Ye Changsheng's arm excitedly. "That's great, husband." "Thank you." Ye Changsheng patted his wife's head lovingly. "As long as you like it. But this Huakayandu seems to be difficult to deal with, so be more careful in the future." With the successful acquisition of the sky swallowing rat, the auction continues. With the successful acquisition of the sky swallowing rat, the auction continues. Then several rare monsters were auctioned one after another, including a third order high grade red flame lion, a fourth order low grade black ice dragon, and a third order peak three-tailed celestial wolf. Although these monster beasts are quite extraordinary, Ye Changsheng and others did not take a fancy to them and just watched quietly. Just when everyone thought that tonight's highlight of the 4th grade low grade show was over, Liu Mengli suddenly smiled mysteriously and announced, "What will be auctioned next is a 4th grade low grade colorful sacred deer." As soon as these words came out, the whole place suddenly boiled. The colorful sacred deer is a legendary beast. It is said that its blood contains powerful vitality, which can heal various injuries and even extend life. More importantly, the colorful sacred deer is naturally compatible with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and is the spiritual pet that practitioners dream of. I saw a little deer with colorful light all over its body, being led to the auction stage. Starlight shines on its antlers, auspicious clouds surround its hooves, and its big smart eyes seem to be able to see through people's hearts. Liu Mengli continued to introduce, although this colorful sacred deer is only a 4th order low grade, its bloodline is extremely pure. It is said that the colorful sacred deer can control the life force between heaven and earth. When it reaches adulthood, it can not only heal various injuries, but also nourish the soul, enhance cultivation. Its antlers are an excellent material for refining top grade elixirs. In addition, the colorful sacred deer is naturally compatible with spiritual energy and can help its owner absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth faster, making it the best partner for practitioners. Upon hearing this introduction, Shen Yufeng's eyes suddenly lit up. She turned to Ye Changsheng and said, "Husband, this colorful sacred deer suits me so well. I have been looking for a spiritual pet that can assist in cultivation, and I like it very much." Ye Changsheng looked at his wife's expectant eyes and smiled softly. Since you like it, then we will buy it. The auction will begin soon. With the starting price being as high as 200 million spiritual stones, the price climbed rapidly and soon exceeded the 300 million mark. Ye Changsheng was calm and collected, and followed the increase in price without any haste. When the price reached 350 million, there were not many competitors left. Ye Changsheng was about to increase the price again, when suddenly a clear voice sounded, 400 million. Ye Changsheng turned around and saw a young woman in a luxurious dress looking at him confidently. Shen Yufeng said nervously, that is the daughter of the lord of Jinpeng City, Jinlinger. She has always liked to collect rare spiritual pets, and I'm afraid she has taken a fancy to this colorful sacred deer. Ye Changsheng patted his wife's hand comfortingly and said calmly, don't worry, I'm here. After saying that, he held up a sign, 410 million. A trace of surprise flashed in Jinlinger's eyes, but she quickly regained her confidence. 42 million. Ye Changsheng was calm and raised his sign again. 430 million. Jinlinger gritted her teeth. 450 million. The scene fell into a stalemate for a while. Jinlinger stared at Ye Changsheng, seemingly weighing whether to continue to increase the price. Ye Changsheng's expression remained unchanged, as if he was waiting for the other party's next move. At this moment, a gentle voice sounded, Linger, forget it. This young master seems to be determined to win. Let's not force it. Linger looked back at the middle-aged man behind her and said with some reluctance, but father, this colorful sacred deer is really rare. The middle-aged man shook his head. There are so many rare treasures in the world. There is no need to hurt your harmony for a spiritual pet. What's more, this young master has extraordinary magnanimity, and there may be opportunities for cooperation in the future. After hearing this, Jinlinger, although still a little unwilling, nodded obediently. I understand, father. Then, she turned to Ye Changsheng and bowed gracefully. I gave this colorful sacred deer to this young master. I hope it can play a greater role in the young master's hands. Ye Changsheng also returned the greeting. Thank you very much, Miss Jin, for your generosity. If you have the opportunity in the future, I will definitely pay you a visit. 450 million. First time. Second time. Third time. Deal. Liu. Mengli announced excitedly. Congratulations to this young man for successfully bidding for the 7-colored divine deer. Shen Yufeng hugged Ye Changsheng's arm excitedly. Great, Changsheng. Thank you. Ye Changsheng touched his wife's head lovingly. As long as you like it. This 7-colored divine deer is indeed extraordinary. I believe it will become a capable assistant on your road to cultivation. With the successful auction of the 7-colored divine deer, the auction continued. Next is the auction of the 4th level middle grade monster beast. Liu Mengli cleared his throat and announced, next we will auction several 4th level middle grade monster beasts. The first is a silver-winged flying wolf, which is good at speed and wind spells. The second is a black iron armored rhino, which has extremely strong defense. And the last is a colorful peacock, which is good at illusion. Everyone can bid according to their needs. Although these monster beasts are not bad, they are not particularly needed for Ye Changsheng and his 4 wives. They quietly observed the bidding process of other monks, waiting for a better monster to appear. Finally, the auction reached the stage of the 4th level high quality monster. Liu Mengli's voice suddenly became excited. The next one to be auctioned is an extremely rare 4th level high quality monster, or 3-headed dog. As her voice fell, a huge cage was pushed onto the auction table. In the cage, a huge 3-headed dog was looking around vigilantly. It has black hair, and each hair is shining with a metallic luster. The 3 heads are red, blue, and black, symbolizing the power of the 3 element of fire, wind, and earth. Chapter 383 Dog. The 6 eyes of the 3-headed dog shine with wisdom, as if they can see through people's hearts. Although its body is huge, its muscles are smooth, showing strong explosive power and agility. The most eye-catching thing is its 3 heads, each with sharp fangs, which looks extremely menacing. Liu Mengli continued. The 3-headed dog not only has powerful physical attack capabilities, but can also control the 3 element of fire, wind, and earth. Its 3 heads can cast different spells at the same time, and its combat effectiveness is extremely terrifying. What's even more rare is that this 3-headed dog is still very young and has a lot of room for growth in the future. When Ye Changsheng heard this, he couldn't help but look at Hua Jiayu. He knew that King Lion Hong already had a 3-tailed sky fox, but Hua Jiayu didn't have a satisfactory protective monster yet. A trace of desire flashed in Hua Jiayu's eyes. Ye Changsheng smiled slightly and decided to take a photo of the 3-headed dog for her. The starting price of this 3-headed dog is 100 million spirit stones, and each increase in price must not be less than 10 million spirit stones. Start bidding now. Liu. Mengli announced loudly. 110 million. A rich male voice shouted first. 130 million. Another high-pitched voice followed. Ye Changsheng calmly held up the sign. 150 million. The price soon exceeded the 200 million mark, but competition is still fierce. 300 million. 350 million. 400 million. Seeing prices rising, many monks have withdrawn from the competition point, but there are still a few wealthy people who are unwilling to give up and are struggling to hold on. 5 billion. A middle-aged man in fine clothes shouted through gritted teeth. Ye Changsheng said calmly. 550 million. The middle-aged man gave Ye Changsheng a hard look and finally gave up. 600 million. Another voice sounded. Ye Changsheng pondered for a moment. 700 million. The whole place was silent. Everyone was shocked by the sky-high price. Liu Mengli shouted excitedly. 700 million once. 700 million twice. Does anyone want to increase the price? At this moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded. 750 million. Ye Changsheng turned around and saw a young man with a gloomy face staring at him coldly. Ye Changsheng smiled calmly. 750 million and 1 million. The young man's expression changed and he finally sat down with gritted teeth. 750 million and 1 million. First time. Second time. Third time. Deal. Liu Mengli announced excitedly. Congratulations to this young man for successfully photographing a 3-headed dog. Hua Jiayu hugged Ye Changsheng's arm excitedly. Changsheng, thank you so much. I have always wanted a powerful monster. Ye Changsheng patted his wife's head lovingly. As long as you like it. The other 3 wives also expressed their congratulations, and the entire box was filled with joy. The next auction continued, and rare treasures were presented to the auction stage. Each auction item aroused heated discussions and fierce bidding among the monks present. The first is a 4th grade high grade 9-turn resurrection pill. This pill can save a life when he is about to die, and can even revive monk who has just died. Liu Mengli said that this elixir was carefully refined by a reclusive alchemy master and was of extremely high quality. In the end, this elixir was bought by a grey-haired old man for a high price of 500 million spiritual stones. Next is a set of 4th level mid-level 5-element body protection formation. This set of formations can be automatically activated in critical moments to form an indestructible protective shield. The core of the formation is 5 spiritual stones containing the power of the 5-element. As long as they are arranged in specific directions, they can exert amazing power. After fierce bidding, this formation was finally won by a seemingly low-key young man for a price of 480 million spiritual stones. Subsequently, a roll of the 4th grade high grade 9 Heaven's Thunder talisman was presented to the auction table. Once this talisman is activated, it can summon 9 powerful thunders, enough to level a hill. Liu Mengli said that this talisman was made by a talisman master who spent hundreds of years of hard work, and its power is extraordinary. In the end, a middle-aged monk in purple robes paid 600 million spiritual stones for it. Just when everyone thought they had seen the most precious treasure, the grand finale of the auction finally appeared. Fellow Taoists, what is going to be auctioned next is a very special treasure. I believe it will be an eye-opener for everyone here. Liu Mengli smiled mysteriously. Please see, this is a 4th level high-grade flying magic weapon named U-0027 Beihua Fairy Boat U-0027. Suddenly, the entire box was silent, and everyone's eyes were focused on the display standpoint as a veil was slowly pulled apart. An unusually gorgeous Behua ferry boat came into viewpoint. The Behua ferry boat is about 200 meters long and 40 meters wide. The entire hull is exquisitely carved, and every decoration exudes a strong feminine charm. The hull of the ship is inlaid with various gemstones, shining with colorful light, like a flowing work of art. Liu Mengli continued, this 100 flowers ferry boat not only has a beautiful appearance, but its interior is also full of various decorations and magical objects that women love. The boat is covered with curtains made of third order spiritual cloth, which is soft and elegant, and the fragrance is overflowing. There are various kinds of female magic tools placed between the curtains, whether they are hydrangeas to keep out the cold, sachets to ward off evil spirits, or spiritual mirrors to enhance your charm. She further introduced, there are 24 third level magic weapons in the 100 flowers fairy boat, including spiritual ornaments, incense burners, embroidered silk, etc., all of which are treasures. In addition, there are 108 second level magic weapons, of various types and extremely practical value. The entire 100 flowers ferry boat is not only a means of transportation, but also an artistic treasure that combines beauty and practicality, especially suitable for use by tasteful female cultivators. At this time, the four wives, Shen Yufeng, King Lion Hong, Chu Yunnan and Hua Jiayu, all looked at the 100 flowers ferry boat, with strong interest and desire in their eyes. Hearing this, the four wives around Ye Changsheng all showed a yearning look. They looked at each other, their eyes flashing with excitement. Changsheng, this 100 flowers ferry boat is so suitable for us, King. Lion Hong couldn't help saying, yes, with it, we can travel together. Hua Ji also said with anticipation. Looking at the eager eyes of his wives, Ye Changsheng had already made a decision in his heart. He nodded slightly, indicating that he understood their intentions at this moment. Liu Mengli announced the starting price of the 100 flowers ferry boat. The starting price of U-0,027 100 flowers ferry boat U-0,027 is 500 million spirit stones, and each bid must not be less than 50 million spirit stones. Bidding begins now. 600 million. A heroic male voice sounded first. 700 million. Another cultivator shouted loudly. Afterwards Ye Changsheng raised the sign calmly. 750 million. The price rose rapidly, and everyone was amazed, but the bidding did not stop there. Chapter 381. 100 flowers fairy boat. 800 million. A monk wearing purple and gold robes shouted loudly, his eyes revealing a strong desire to buy. 850 million. A clear female voice followed, seemingly the wife of one of the rich men. Ye Changsheng responded calmly. 900 million. The whole place was in an uproar, and the atmosphere suddenly became tense. Heroes from all walks of life have offered high prices, and the price of Behua ferry boat has exceeded 1 billion. 1 billion and 50 million. A deep voice lowered its tone, but it carried a pressure that could not be ignored. 1 billion. Another shouted, his voice filled with determination. At this moment, there was a burst of hurried footsteps outside the box door, and everyone looked sideways, only to see a young man in black robe hurriedly walked in with a gloomy face, looking directly at the Behua ferry boat on the auction stage. Liu Mengli frowned and asked, Master, it seems that you are quite interested in the Behua ferry boat. The young man in black robe said coldly, the price of Behua ferry boat is really too high. 75 million is no pressure on me, but considering its value, I'm willing to pay a higher price. The atmosphere at the scene heated up again, and the bidding seemed to have entered a fierce stage. Liu Mengli smiled lightly, then it's up to you to bid first. The young man in black robe did not hesitate. 1.2 billion. The whole audience was shocked, and the bidding price rose rapidly. Seeing that the situation was not good, other bidders chose to give in. Only Ye Changsheng and a few heroes still persisted. 1.3 billion. A white-haired old man was the first to increase the price. 1.4 billion. Another purple-robed monk was not to be outdone. Ye Changsheng's eyes were firm, and he slowly raised the sign. 1.45 billion. The price has exceeded 1.5 billion, which shows the value of Behua ferry boat. However, the young man in black robe sneered. 1.55 billion. Ye Changsheng remained calm and composed. 1.6 billion. The young man in black robe gritted his teeth and said 1.65 billion. 7 billion. As soon as this offer came out, it immediately left other competitors far behind. Ye Changsheng recognized this person as Ye Changsheng, the head of the Li family of Daewon Kingdom. It was obviously a gift for his beloved daughter. 1.8 billion. Another burly man spoke. He was the famous head of the Iron Sect in the northern region of Daewon Kingdom. Ye Changsheng paused his action, wanting to see at what price the two men would decide the outcome. The two strong men went back and forth, and the price soon exceeded the 2 billion mark. At this time, the atmosphere in the auction house became increasingly tense, and everyone held their breath for fear of missing any wonderful moment. Ye Changsheng's four wives also clenched their fists nervously, their eyes full of anticipation. Just when Ye Changsheng raised the price to 2.5 billion, Ye Changsheng finally took action again. 26 billion. He calmly held up the sign. This move immediately caused an uproar in the audience. Everyone turned their heads, wanting to catch a glimpse of this mysterious buyer who spent a lot of money. Ye Changsheng and the head of the Iron Sect looked at each other, with a trace of fear flashing in their eyes. 27 billion. Ye Changsheng gritted his teeth and increased the price. Ye Changsheng calmly raised the sign again. 28 billion. The whole place was in an uproar again. This price has far exceeded the actual value of the Beihua ferry boat, but for Ye Changsheng, the happiness of his wives is the most important thing. Ye Changsheng and Master Taizang looked at each other and finally chose to give up. They knew that competing with a top powerhouse like Ye Changsheng would only bring humiliation to themselves. 28 billion times 28 billion times 28 billion 3 times. As Liu Mengli's hammer sound fell, Ye Changsheng successfully photographed the 100 Flowers ferry boat. The four wives were ecstatic and looked gratefully at Ye Changsheng. "Thank you, husband, for your support." Shen Yufeng said softly, and the other three wives nodded. Ye Changsheng smiled and shook his head. "As long as you are happy, this Beihua ferry boat is indeed suitable for you. In the future, our family can take it to travel around the mountains and rivers together. Wouldn't it be beautiful?" After hearing this, the four wives' eyes were filled with tears of happiness. They deeply feel the love and consideration of their husbands, and the love in their hearts is even greater than before. Liu Mengli smiled and said, "Congratulations to this gentleman and his four ladies for successfully bidding for the Beihua ferry boat. This 100 Flowers ferry boat is an unparalleled treasure both in appearance and interior. I believe it will bring endless convenience and beauty to all the ladies." The auction continued in a lively atmosphere, and everyone was looking forward to the next rare auction. The Beihua ferry boat was slowly moved to the display area. Following the guidance of the auctioneer, the decorative lights on the hull gradually lit up. The entire Beihua ferry boat was like a fairyland floating in the clouds, shining brightly. The carvings on the hull are exquisite, as if every detail contains endless ingenuity and wisdom. The canvas of Beihua ferry boat is made of high quality third order spiritual cloth, which is light and tough, fluttering in the wind, as if telling its legendary story. The layout inside the ship is even more amazing. Various female magical instruments are placed between the gorgeous curtains. Each magical instrument exudes aura and shines as if it is alive. There is an exquisite table placed in the central area. There are several third-level magic weapons placed on the table, including a spiritual ornament, an incense burner and an embroidered silk. Each piece emits a unique light. There are also multiple lockers in the cabin, which contain 108 second-level magic weapons of various types. From practical cold-proof spiritual cloth to spiritual mirrors that enhance charm, all of which reflect the care and ingenuity of the makers. However, the most precious thing is that this Beihua ferry boat has 4 4th-level top-grade dragons as laborers, pulling the hull majestically. These dragons are dozens of meters long, with scales flashing with faint light, fins as wide as fans, and tails as agile and powerful. Their eyes reveal wisdom and strength, and each dragon has a unique pattern, symbolizing different attributes and abilities. The 4 dragons work together and have a tacit understanding. The hull moves slowly under their drive, as if it is a real ferry boat that can lead the owner across the sky and travel the world. The scales of one of the dragons are deep blue, symbolizing the power of water. Another is burning red, symbolizing the majesty of fire. The third is emerald green, representing life and nature. The last is golden yellow, symbolizing light and glory. These 4 dragons are not only majestic in appearance, but also unmatched in strength. They can move forward steadily in any environment, ensuring the safety and speed of the 100 Flowers ferry boat. The 4 women surrounded the 100 Flowers ferry boat, carefully observing it and praising it. Uajiu's eyes flashed with joy. This 100 Flowers ferry boat is not only beautiful, but even the dragons are of the 4th grade upper grade. It is really a rare treasure. Shen Yufeng analyzed more rationally. These 4 dragons have different attributes and can adapt to different environments. Whether it is water or land, they can easily cope with it, and their strength is enough to carry this huge 100 Flowers ferry boat, which is really invaluable. Chapter 382 Homecoming, Part 3. Chu Yunnan was attracted by the decoration inside the boat and said softly, "These magical instruments and decorations are so exquisite. Each one is a work of art." Sitting on the Beihua ferry boat, you will definitely enjoy unparalleled comfort and beauty. King Lion Hong was full of praise for the practicality of the Beihua Immortal boat. Having such a Beihua Immortal boat will greatly improve our efficiency and experience, whether traveling or practicing. What's more, there are 4 4th-order dragons as the labor is really worth it. Seeing the satisfied smiles of the 4 girls, Ye Changsheng felt relieved in his heart. Seeing the satisfied smiles of the 4 girls, Ye Changsheng felt relieved in his heart. He immediately decided to complete the deal without any further hesitation. "I want to pay off the 100 Flowers Immortal boat and the spirit stones of the 3 monster beasts," Ye Changsheng said to the staff of the auction house. The staff nodded respectfully and quickly completed the procedures for Ye Changsheng. Ye Changsheng took out a large number of spirit stones from the storage bag and quickly paid off the entire amount. The staff of the auction house were extremely efficient and soon handed over the Beihua ferry boat and the jade talisman for controlling the 4 dragons to Ye Changsheng's hands. Ye Changsheng carefully checked the jade talisman, and after confirming that it was correct, he turned to face the 4 girls with a gentle smile on his face. "These 4 dragons are all 4th level high grade, enough to serve as your second demon pet. I want each of you to sacrifice 1. This will not only enhance your strength, but also better control the 100 Flowers Immortal boat." When the 4 girls heard this, their eyes shone with surprise. Uajiu was the first to speak. "Thank you for your love, husband. We will definitely cherish it." Ye Changsheng nodded and handed the 4 jade charms to the 4 women respectively. "You can start the sacrifice now, so that we can use the 100 Flowers Immortal boat directly when we leave." The 4 girls sat down cross-legged as instructed and began to concentrate on refining the jade talisman. Ye Changsheng stood aside to protect them. About an hour later, the 4 girls opened their eyes one after another with joyful expressions on their faces. The sacrifice was successful, Chu Yunnan said excitedly. "I can feel the power of the dragon connected to me." The other 3 women also nodded in agreement. Ye Changsheng smiled with satisfaction, but then he thought about his performance at the auction today and couldn't help but feel worried. "The noise we made today was a bit loud. I'm afraid it will attract some unnecessary attention." Ye Changsheng muttered, "For the sake of safety, we'd better leave here as soon as possible." The 4 women looked at each other and agreed. Ye Changsheng led them to quietly leave the auction house, avoiding the sight of the crowd. They quickly left the city and came to a secluded open space. "Now, let's try the power of this 100 Flowers ferry boat," Ye Changsheng said as he took out the 100 Flowers Immortal boat magic weapon. As a spell was played, the 100 Flowers Immortal boat appeared instantly, suspended in midair. 4 mighty dragons also appeared, hovering around the ferry boat. "So beautiful," King Lion Hong exclaimed. "It's even more spectacular than what I saw in the auction house." Ye Changsheng smiled and invited the 4 girls to board the ferry boat. When everyone was settled, he ordered softly, "Let's go home." The 4 dragons seemed to understand the order and roared in unison, driving the Beihua ferry boat into the sky. The ferry boat drew a beautiful arc in the night sky and sped towards Ye Changsheng's family territory. Sitting on the ferry boat, feeling the rushing wind, Ye Changsheng felt filled with satisfaction. He looked at the 4 women around him, and each of them had a happy smile on their face. At this moment, He felt that all the efforts were worth it. The Beihua ferry boat flies across the night sky like a shooting star streaking across the sky. 4 fourth level high grade dragons escorted him, making the trip home extremely smooth. Ye Changsheng was surprised to find that the speed of these dragons was far faster than his third order galaxy spacecraft. In just over a month, the Beihua ferry boat has returned to the sky above Qinghu Peak. When the Beihua ferry boat and 4 huge dragons circled and flew around Qinghu Peak, the entire mountain peak suddenly fell into a commotion. The monks on the peak looked up one after another. Some people exclaimed, some talked about it, and some even started to prepare for defense. Seeing this, Ye Changsheng quickly landed from the Beihua ferry boat with his full aid as they calmed the 4 dragons and asked them to stop around the mountain and wait. Later, Ye Changsheng explained to the gathered tribesmen, "Don't panic, this is a treasure we brought back after our breakthrough." Everyone calmed down a little, but their eyes were still full of curiosity and wonder. Seeing that the time had come, Ye Changsheng solemnly announced, "I have important news to tell everyone. During this outing, I have successfully made a breakthrough and advanced to the 4th level of Taoist realm." As soon as these words came out, the entire Qinghu Peak suddenly boiled. Everyone cheered, and someone shouted loudly, "Congratulations to the clan leader on his promotion to the Taoist court. You have a bright future. The patriarch is mighty, and the King's High family will surely reach a higher level. Congratulations to the clan leader for his great improvement in cultivation and blessing Qinghu. May the patriarch's spiritual practice be diligent and his immortal path evergreen." Ye Changsheng smiled and waved to everyone and added, "Not only that, my 4 wives have also broken through to the 4th level Taoist realm." This news made the entire Qinghu Peak and even the entire King's High family boil. Everyone kept shouting, "Congratulations to the patriarch and his wife for advancing together and cultivating the great path. If the King's High family has a successor, they will definitely prosper. I wish the patriarch and his wife a smooth road and an everlasting immortality." Ye Changsheng felt the enthusiasm of the tribesmen and felt very happy in his heart. He raised his hand to signal everyone to quiet down and then said, "Thank you for your blessings. Our King's High family can't achieve today's achievements without everyone's efforts. Let us continue to work together for the future of the family struggle." Everyone responded in unison, and the scene was extremely lively. Amid cheers, Ye Changsheng and his 4 ladies came to the place where his grandfather Ye Jiuhu and his mother Cui Linglang were. Ye Changsheng stepped forward, saluted, and said respectfully, "My grandson/son has fulfilled his mission and has broken through to the 4th level of Taoist realm." Ye Jiuhu and Cui Linglang looked at each other and smiled, seemingly not surprised by the result. Ye Jiuhu patted Ye Changsheng on the shoulder and said happily, "Good boy, your progress has far exceeded our expectations. It seems that the future of our King's High family really depends on you to create it." Cui Linglang gently stroked Ye Changsheng's face and said with tears in her eyes, "My son has become a big shot. Mom is really proud of you." Ye Changsheng bowed deeply. At this time, other ladies and children also came. After hearing the news, they showed great interest in the Beihua ferry boat and the 4 huge dragons and asked for details. Ye Changsheng patiently introduced them to the origin and function of the Beihua ferry boat, as well as the characteristics of the 4 dragons. Chapter 383 Celebration. Seeing the envy in the eyes of other ladies, Ye Changsheng smiled and promised, "When you also break through to the 4th order Daoting realm, I will definitely prepare the same configuration for each of you." As soon as these words came out, the ladies cheered and expressed their willingness to work harder to practice. The children excitedly circled around the dragons, chattering about how to ride these magical creatures in the future. Ye Changsheng looked at the harmonious and warm scene in front of him, and his heart was filled with happiness amidst the laughter and joy. Ye Changsheng and his family walked into the hall of Changsheng Garden together, preparing to hold a grand celebration banquet. To celebrate this major breakthrough. The entire Qinghu Peak was immersed in a joyful atmosphere, looking forward to a better tomorrow. On that day, Qinghu Peak was decorated with lights and colors, and the atmosphere was full of joy. To celebrate Ye Changsheng's breakthrough to the 4th order Daoting realm, the King's Huyi family held a grand spiritual banquet. The spiritual banquet was held on the square at the top of Qinghu Peak. Hundreds of jade tables were arranged neatly. Each table was covered with colorful brocade tablecloths and exquisite instruments and tableaux were placed on them. Countless night pearls were suspended in the air, illuminating the entire venue like daylight. The dishes of the spiritual banquet were even more breathtaking. There were cloud and rosy fairy fruits from the 9 heavens, dragon saliva fish from the deep sea, and 5-colored divine grass from the ancient secret realm. Each dish contained rich spiritual energy. After eating, it could not only fill the stomach, but also improve cultivation. In terms of wine, the king's high family took out the 1,000-year-old spiritual wine they had bought before. These wines were crystal clear and exuded an intoxicating fragrance. It was said that drinking them could cleanse the meridians and improve cultivation. The entire Kinghu Peak, from elders to ordinary tribesmen, were invited to participate in this feast. Ye Changsheng and his 4 wives sat in the main seats, smiling as they accepted the blessings of the clansmen. What was particularly eye-catching was that more than 100 purple mansion-level guests brought back by Ye Changsheng were also present. These guests were already in awe of Ye Changsheng, and now that they saw him break through to the 4th order Daoting realm, they were even more respectful. They all came forward to toast and express their respect for Ye Changsheng, patriarch. Ye is indeed a genius. He has reached the 4th order Daoting realm at such a young age. It is really admirable. A white-haired old man raised his glass and said, "Yes, although we are old, our cultivation is far inferior to that of patriarch Ye. I hope you can give us more advice in the future." Another middle-aged cultivator echoed. Ye Changsheng humbly responded to the congratulations of each guest and promised to provide them with a better cultivation environment and resources. These words made the guests even more grateful, and they all expressed their willingness to serve the King's Ye family wholeheartedly. Halfway through the banquet, Ye Changsheng stood up and raised his glass to everyone. "Thank you for your blessings and support. The achievements of the King's Ye family today are inseparable from the efforts of everyone present. Let us work together and go hand in hand to create a more brilliant tomorrow for the family's future." Warm applause and cheers rang out throughout the audience. Everyone raised their glasses and drank the celebratory wine together. The banquet lasted until late at night, with singing and dancing and toasts. Ye Changsheng had a great chat with his family, clansmen, and guests, and the atmosphere was warm and harmonious. This feast not only celebrated Ye Changsheng's breakthrough, but also enhanced the cohesion of the King's Ye family, laying a solid foundation for the future development of the family. That night, the moonlight was like water, the lights on Kinghu Peak were bright, and there was constant laughter. The next morning, the sun shone into the room through the window lattice, and Ye Changsheng slowly opened his eyes. Although he enjoyed the banquet last night, he did not feel tired at all. As a cultivator at the 4th order Daoting realm, his energy and recovery ability are far beyond that of ordinary people. Ye Changsheng got up and washed up, then went to the retreat room and sat cross-legged. He took a deep breath, and his mind moved, and his consciousness instantly entered the fairy tree space. As soon as he entered the space, Ye Changsheng was stunned by the scene in front of him. The fairy tree space has undergone tremendous changes again, and it has expanded a lot compared to the last time he came. The space is now hundreds of acres in size, with lush spiritual plants all over it, exuding a rich spiritual energy. Ye Changsheng strolled in the space, carefully observing every change. The air was filled with the fresh fragrance of plants and trees, and the land under his feet was full of vitality. He came to the stone platform in the center of the space and found that the 3rd faucet had been retracted, and the 4th faucet began to drip a drop of fairy dew every month. 2 drops of new fairy dew have accumulated in the stone jar, together with the 11 drops stored before. Ye Changsheng now has a total of 13 drops of precious 4th order fairy dew. What surprised Ye Changsheng even more was that the speed at which the 5th faucet condensed the fairy dew was significantly accelerated. What excited him most was that the 6th dragon head had also appeared. Although it had not yet begun to drip fairy dew, it indicated that the fairy tree space had greater potential in the future. Ye Changsheng continued to stroll in the space and came to a 4th level high quality spiritual grass that exuded a strong demon beast aura. He immediately recognized that this was the demon king grass he had obtained in the golden light fortress before. Ye Changsheng thought carefully about it He had 9 3-legged fire crows that needed to be advanced, and King Lion Hang's 3-tailed sky fox was also about to break through. In total, he needed 10 demon king grasses. Ye Changsheng carefully took out an exquisite jade bottle from the storage bag, poured out a drop of 4th level fairy dew from it, and gently dripped it on the demon king grass. As soon as the fairy dew touched the demon king grass, it was immediately absorbed. Ye Changsheng held his breath and watched the changes of the demon king grass. The demon king grass grew at a speed visible to the naked eye. The stems became thicker, and the leaves became greener. After a while, the demon king grass began to bear seeds, and soon hundreds of plump seeds were produced. Ye Changsheng was ecstatic. He carefully collected these seeds, and then selected 9 of the plumpest seeds, and planted them in other vacant spiritual lands in the space. He dripped a drop of 4th level fairy dew into each newly planted demon king grass seedling. The miracle happened again. The 9 demon king grasses grew rapidly and soon grew into lush mature bodies. Each of them exuded a powerful demon beast aura. Ye Changsheng nodded with satisfaction, carefully put away the 10 demon king grasses, and put them in a special jade box. After completing the cultivation of the demon king grass, Ye Changsheng thought of another treasure. He took out a golden fruit from the storage bag. Cheyenne Huan fruit. This is also one of the many 4th level spiritual fruits he obtained in the Golden Light Fortress. It is said that it can effectively improve the cultivation of the early Taoist monks. Ye Changsheng gently peeled the Cheyenne Huan fruit and took out the core. He took out another drop of 4th level fairy dew and carefully dripped it on the core. As soon as the fairy dew touched the core, it was quickly absorbed. In the blink of an eye, a Cheyenne Huan fruit tree more than 3 feet high rose from the ground, with lush branches and leaves. The tree was full of golden fruits, as many as 18. Chapter 384 Kyankan House. Ye Changsheng was overjoyed. He didn't expect that one core could produce so many fruits. With a thought in his heart, Ye Changsheng took out 2 more Cheyenne Huan fruit cores and dripped them into the 4th level fairy dew. Soon, 2 more Cheyenne Huan fruit trees grew, each bearing 18 fruits. In this way, Ye Changsheng harvested a total of 54 Cheyenne Huan fruits. Looking at these hard-won spiritual fruits, Ye Changsheng felt a warm current in his heart. He thought of his 4 wives and decided to share this joy with them. Ye Changsheng exited the fairy tree space and immediately summoned the 4 girls Shen Yufeng, Chu Yunyan, King Lion Hang and Hua Jiayu. When he took out the Cheyenne Huan fruit, the 4 girls were all pleasantly surprised. Husband, you really have a solution, Shen Yufeng said in surprise. I have long heard that this fruit is very precious and its effect is much stronger than ordinary elixirs. Chu Yunyan took the fruit and looked at it carefully. The spiritual energy contained in the yellow fruit today is so rich, it must be of great benefit to our cultivation. King Lion Hang smiled and said, Brother Changsheng is always so considerate, even wanting to share such a precious spiritual fruit with us. Hua Jiayu gently touched the Cheyenne Huan fruit in her hand and looked at Ye Changsheng gratefully. Thank you, husband. With these Cheyenne Huan fruits, our cultivation will definitely reach a higher level. Ye Changsheng smiled and distributed the Cheyenne Huan fruits to the 4 girls. 10 to each of them. Seeing their happy faces filled his heart with warmth. After Ye Changsheng distributed the Cheyenne Huan fruit to the 4 ladies, he suddenly remembered something important. By the way, our 4 4th level high grade dragons don't have suitable 4th level spiritual lands. I'm afraid they won't be able to adapt, right? He asked. When the 4 women heard this, their expressions were a little solemn. Shen Yufeng nodded and said, that's true. They have been a little restless these days. We fed them some 3rd level demon pills, and the situation got a little better. Ye Changsheng frowned and thought for a moment, then said, our spiritual land cannot be upgraded in a short time. In the long run, we can only change to a better clan land. But now is not the right time. I have to find a way to temporarily solve it. The 4 girls all looked expectant after hearing this. Ye Changsheng comforted him. Don't worry yet, I'll find a solution. After saying that, he said goodbye and left. Ye Changsheng went directly to the Xiangang altar deep in the retreat. After stepping on the altar, he came to the Xiangang. He went straight to the 3rd to last floor, which was a trading area dedicated to selling various 4th level cultivation resources. Ye Changsheng walked on the streets, carefully looking for a store that could solve the current problem. Finally, at the end of a remote alley, he discovered a shop called Kyankan Wangxiang Pavilion Point. Although the store is small, its facade is very delicately decorated, giving it a mysterious and high-end feel. Pushing the door open, a crisp bell rang. Ye Changsheng walked to the counter, where a kind-faced old man was wiping a strange magic weapon. "What does this fellow Taoist do for you?" The old man raised his head and asked. Ye Changsheng went straight to the point. "Senior, I wonder if there is a device here that can temporarily enhance the spiritual land." The old man's eyes lit up and he smiled. "Yes, but it's expensive. Senior, please give me more details." Ye Changsheng said nonchalantly. The old man nodded, took out a delicate wooden box from under the counter, and opened it to reveal a palm-sized cabin model. "This is the signature product of our store, the Kyankan House. It is mainly suitable for monks to practice in the wild. Just install spiritual stones at the bottom to simulate the corresponding level of spiritual environment." Ye Changsheng's eyes lit up. "Is there a 4th level low-grade Kyankan house?" The old man smiled and took out another box, which contained a slightly larger model. "This is the 4th level low-grade Kyankan house. It uses the latest mustard seed Kyankan technology. When unfolded, the internal space is 1,000 feet in size, and it is equipped with various training facilities. The most important thing is that it uses unique formation technology. This kind of 4th level low-grade Kyankan house can simulate the corresponding level of spiritual land with the minimum consumption of spiritual stones. It only consumes 300 high-grade spiritual stones every day." Ye Changsheng was pleasantly surprised. "That's great. I wonder how much this kind of Kyankan house will cost." 8 million high-grade spiritual stones for one. The old man said calmly. Ye Changsheng thought for a while and said, "I want 5. The old man was a little surprised, but quickly returned to normal. "Fellow Taoist, this is a big deal. I wonder if you need any other items." Ye Changsheng asked again, "Is there a similar device specially designed to house monsters?" "Yes, Dragon's Nest." The old man took out another model and said, "The principle is the same as the Kyankan house, but the internal space is larger and more suitable for the cultivation of various monsters." "How many spiritual stones are needed for a 4th level high quality dragon's nest?" 16 million high-grade spiritual stones for one, consuming 600 high-grade spiritual stones every day. Ye Changsheng nodded and said, "I want 4. In addition, 10 more 4th level low-grade dragon nests." The old man was so surprised that he couldn't speak. It took him a while to come back to his senses. A 4th level low-level dragon's nest is also worth 8 million high-level spiritual stones. Ye Changsheng asked again, "Is there any place suitable for 3rd level monks to stay together?" The old man quickly introduced, "There is one, called Kyankan Pavilion. It is divided into 3 levels, upper, middle and lower. Each consumes 500 high-grade spiritual stones per day. There are 36 independent retreat rooms. The price is 2 million. Top grade spiritual stone. Bring me a 3rd level mid-grade Kyankan Pavilion." After Ye Changsheng finished speaking, he looked at the dumbfounded old man and said with a smile, "Senior, please calculate the total price." The old man took out the abacus with trembling hands and turned the keys quickly. After a moment, he took a deep breath and said, "Fellow Taoist, the total price is 186 million high-grade spiritual stones." Ye Changsheng nodded, took out a large pile of spiritual stones from the storage bag, and filled the entire counter. At this time, almost all his spiritual stones were spent. Looking at the empty storage bag, Ye Changsheng couldn't help but sigh. At the 4th level, consumption is like running water. The old man respectfully packed all the goods and handed them to Ye Changsheng. "Thank you for your patronage, fellow Taoist, and welcome to come again next time." Ye Changsheng took the package and left Kyankan Wangxiang Pavilion with satisfaction. Although the cost was huge, it finally solved the urgent need. Ye Changsheng returned with a full load and returned to the real world. He couldn't wait to summon the 4 female cultivators who had just entered the Taoist court: Shen Yufeng, King Lian Hong, Chu Yunnan and Hua Jiayu. The 4 girls came after hearing the news and curiously looked at the package in Ye Changsheng's hand, ladies, I have just obtained some treasures that I would like to share with you, Ye Changsheng said with a smile. He carefully opened the package and took out several exquisite models. This is a Changsheng house, a magical space magic weapon, Ye Changsheng explained. It can create an independent space inside, which is very suitable for cultivation and life. The four girls were amazed and looked at these small and exquisite models carefully. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 385 Far Crow Advancement, Part 2. Ye Changsheng patiently explained to them how to use the Changsheng house, including how to activate it, and how to adjust the internal environment. I have prepared one for each of you. You can place it in your own garden. This will not only improve the efficiency of cultivation, but also make life more comfortable, Ye Changsheng said, and handed the four Changsheng houses to the four women. The four women were ecstatic and thanked him repeatedly. They couldn't wait to try this novel magic weapon. And this, Ye Changsheng took out four larger models. This is a 4th level top grade dragon nest, specially prepared for your dragon. It can provide the best cultivation environment for the dragon and accelerate their growth. The four women were even more surprised. They all knew the importance of dragons to the Dao court. It is undoubtedly a great blessing to have such a treasure to cultivate dragons. Thank you, husband. The four women thanked in unison. Ye Changsheng smiled and nodded, then turned to King Lionhong. Lionhong, give me the monster bag containing the three-tailed celestial fox. King Lionhong immediately did as he was told and handed the monster bag to Ye Changsheng. After taking it, Ye Changsheng said to the four women, you go and set up the Changsheng house and the dragon nest first. I still have some things to deal with. The four women took the order and left, and Ye Changsheng went to the back mountain alone. He carefully opened the monster bag and released the three-tailed celestial fox. As soon as the three-tailed celestial fox appeared, it looked around vigilantly. When it found that Ye Changsheng was not its master, it suddenly became a little agitated. Ye Changsheng immediately released the pressure of the 4th level Dao court and said gently, don't be afraid, I'm here to help you advance. Feeling Ye Changsheng's powerful aura, the three-tailed celestial fox gradually calmed down, and a hint of expectation flashed in its eyes. Ye Changsheng nodded with satisfaction, and then called out, Xiaohuo, bring your brothers and sisters over here. After a while, under the leadership of Xiaohuo, 9 three-legged far crows quickly flew over and landed around Ye Changsheng. Ye Changsheng took out 10 4th level inferior dragon nests and placed them neatly. He also took out a large number of spiritual stones and put them in each dragon nest. These are Shenayu fruit, Lingayu leaf and Yaohuan grass. Ye Changsheng said, dividing these precious spiritual medicines into 10 portions and placing them in front of each monster. They can help you break through to the 4th level. The 10 monsters all seemed very excited. They were smart enough to understand what Ye Changsheng meant. They couldn't wait to swallow the spiritual medicine in front of them, and then each entered the dragon nest and began to break through. Ye Changsheng looked at this scene with satisfaction, thinking, with these helpers, they should be able to break through to the 4th level soon. By then, the strength of the Dao court will be greatly improved. After placing these monsters, Ye Changsheng came to the 3rd level guest area again. He found a suitable location, placed the 3rd level middle grade Changsheng pavilion, and put in enough spirit stones. Ye Changsheng summoned the cultivators who had not yet been assigned the 3rd level middle grade cave house, and introduced the function of the Changsheng pavilion to them. From today on, you can come here to practice, Ye Changsheng said. However, the 3rd level low grade cave house you originally occupied needs to be given up for the newly promoted cultivators to use. The cultivators were surprised when they heard this. They had long been dissatisfied with their own practice environment, and now they finally had a better place. Thank you, boss. The cultivators thanked in unison. Ye Changsheng smiled and nodded, thinking to himself, with this Changsheng pavilion, it can not only improve the efficiency of the cultivators' cultivation, but also alleviate the problem of the shortage of caves. Although this investment is huge, it is definitely worth it. At this time, King Lionhang hurried over and reported to Ye Changsheng. Changsheng, the Kyankan house and the dragon nest have been properly arranged. The dragons seem to like the new residents very much and have begun to concentrate on cultivation. Ye Changsheng nodded and smiled. Very good. By the way, I have arranged for your three-tailed fox to advance. You may need to wait another half a year before you can see it. Thank you, husband, king. Lionhang thanked. 3 months passed quickly. During this time, Ye Changsheng has been practicing in seclusion, focusing on improving his cultivation. On this day, he finally woke up from his practice and felt that his strength had improved significantly again. Ye Changsheng summoned his second son Ye Chengyu. Ye Chengyu, who is 46 years old this year, has reached the 4th level of the Purple Mansion. But his appearance is still like a young man. He stood respectfully in front of his father, waiting for Ye Changsheng's instructions. Ye Changsheng looked at his eldest son, feeling relieved. He slowly said, Jua, you have grown up, and it's time to start taking on some family responsibilities. This year, I plan to arrange marriages for your brothers and sisters, and this task will be left to you to complete. Upon hearing this, Ye Chengyu immediately bowed and replied, yes, father, I have always hoped to share your worries, and I will do my best to complete this task. Ye Changsheng nodded with satisfaction and continued, this is the information I bought from the Xianji Pavilion. Your brothers Shengyu, Shengfeng, Shengqin, and Shengqian, let them choose their favorite objects. Now that our family is a doting family, we don't have to care too much about the other party's family background, and we can choose anyone we want. However, I have some requirements for spiritual roots. He explained in detail. Shengyu has 3 spiritual roots. Shengfeng has 4 spiritual roots. They can choose female cultivators with 2 spiritual roots. Shengqin and Shengqian have 2 spiritual roots. They need to choose female cultivators with heavenly spiritual roots. After they have made their selection, you will bring 12 guests in the middle stage of Purple Mansion to propose marriage one by one. Ye Changsheng took out an exquisite jade box from the storage bag and handed it to Ye Chengyu. Here are 8 top-grade Purple Mansion pills and 40 top-grade foundation building pills as betrothal gifts. Other items can be used at will from the warehouse. Ye Chengyu took the jade box respectfully and put it away carefully. Ye Changsheng added, as for your 4 sisters, I plan to hold a fruit feast. You should invite more suitable talents to participate, but the family background must be at least the Purple Mansion family, and the spiritual roots must be above 2 spiritual roots. Let your sisters choose for themselves. And Shengmei, although she has no spiritual roots, you have to choose a direct descendant of the doting family for her, and arrange her marriage this year. Ye Chengyu carefully wrote down every request of his father and said solemnly, the child understands, and will definitely do it according to your father's wishes. Just when Ye Chengyu was about to leave, Ye Changsheng called him again. I saw Ye Changsheng wave his hand, and 4 treasures exuding an ancient atmosphere appeared in the air, namely the Zuanshan shield, the demon slaying spear, the wind controlling wings, and the golden crowbow. I am worried that you will go out to do things without an ancient treasure for self-defense. Ye Changsheng said, you can choose one of these 4 third-level ancient treasures to take with you. Ye Chengyu was overjoyed and looked at the 4 ancient treasures carefully. Chapter 386, Children, 039's marriage. Finally, his eyes fell on the golden crowbow. This bow is golden in color and exudes a fiery aura, as if it contains the power of the Sunday Mai. Child chooses a golden crowbow. Ye Chengyu said respectfully. Seeing this, Ye Changsheng took out another quiver, which was filled with arrows matching the golden crowbow. These arrows are also given to you. Remember, although ancient treasures are good, they must be used with caution and not shown to others easily. Ye Chengyu solemnly took the golden crowbow and quiver and bowed deeply to his father. Thank you very much, father, for your love. My child will definitely remember his teachings. Ye Changsheng nodded with satisfaction and waved his hand to indicate that Ye Chengyu could leave. Looking at his son's leaving figure, Ye Changsheng thought to himself, Jua has grown up, and it's time for him to take charge of his own business. This mission is also a training for him. I hope he can complete it successfully. Ye Changsheng practiced in seclusion, and time flew by. 6 months later, he woke up from practice and felt that his cultivation had improved again. Just when he was about to continue practicing, the waiter came to report that Ye Changsheng had returned and was waiting in the lobby. Ye Changsheng straightened his clothes and came to the hall. I saw that Ye Changsheng was in high spirits, and it was obvious that he had gained a lot from this trip. Seeing his father arriving, Ye Changsheng immediately stood up and saluted. "Father, the child has completed his mission and is back." Ye Changsheng said respectfully. Ye Changsheng nodded and motioned for him to sit down and report in detail. Ye Changsheng enthusiastically began to talk about his experience on this trip. "Father, the betrothal gifts for the weddings of the 4 younger brothers have been paid. Along the way, because you have advanced to the Taoist court, you are polite to us everywhere you go, so the trip went smoothly." Ye Changsheng then introduced in detail the family background and personal talents of each of his younger brother's future wives. They were all good matches that met Ye Changsheng's requirements. He also mentioned that the wedding of the 4 brothers will be held in a month, and the scene will be very grand. As for the son-in-law banquet of the 4 sisters, the child has already arranged it in 2 months. Many outstanding young talents who meet the father's requirements will be invited to attend. When Ye Changsheng said this, he paused briefly and then continued. As for Sister Shengmei, the child has also chosen a direct descendant of the Daoting family for her according to his father's instructions. The other party has a prominent family background, good conduct, and is very special. It's suitable for Sister Shengmei. We plan to hold a wedding for Shengmei after the 2 weddings." After hearing his son's report, Ye Changsheng looked satisfied. He smiled and nodded and said, "Okay, you did a good job. It seems that you have really grown a lot in the past 6 months." Ye Changsheng was secretly happy when he heard his father's praise, but he remained respectful on his face. Ye Changsheng continued, "To hold a wedding, we at King Hu Peak have to prepare a lot. From etiquette arrangements to guest reception, every detail cannot be ignored. You have to keep an eye on it personally to make sure nothing goes wrong." Ye Changsheng responded solemnly, "Yes, father. The child must prepare carefully and never let down his father's expectations." Ye Changsheng smiled happily and waved his hand. "Go ahead and prepare for the upcoming marriage. If you have any difficulties, come to me at any time." Ye Changsheng bowed respectfully and left, already thinking about various wedding matters in his mind. A month later, King Hu Peak was decorated with lanterns and colorful decorations, and it was full of joy. The weddings of the 4 young masters of the Ye family were held as scheduled, and the scene was grand. Ye Changsheng made a special trip out of the customs this time and personally received the procession of sending off his bride. 4 bride-to-be teams arrived at King Hu Peak, one of which came from the Zifu family and was particularly impressive. Although the other 3 branches are foundation building families, they are also famous families in their respective regions. Ye Changsheng stood in front of the gate of King Hu Peak Mountain, wearing a luxurious Taoist robe, majestic yet kind. When people from the 4 families seeing off relatives saw Ye Changsheng, they were all shocked by his magnanimity. They knelt down one after another to see him, appearing sincere and frightened. Ye Changsheng smiled and said, "Everyone has come a long way. Thank you for your hard work. Today is a happy day. No need to be polite, just get up, only." Then did everyone stand up tremblingly. Ye Changsheng said a few more festive words, expressed his joy at the marriage between the 2 families, and invited everyone inside to attend the wedding. The procession of sending off relatives expressed their thanks one after another, as if they had been granted amnesty. They secretly thought that the Ye family really lived up to its reputation. Not only did the family leader have a high level of cultivation, he was also so decent in his dealings with others. After Ye Changsheng arranged the guests, he returned to his residence. He knew that there were more happy events waiting for him to worry about next. Thinking of the family's prosperity, Ye Changsheng's heart was filled with relief and expectation. Early the next morning, King Hu Peak was filled with a festive atmosphere. Red satin ribbons decorated the entire mountain gate, and happy words were plastered in every corner. The 4 new Liwats, dressed in gorgeous wedding clothes, came to the main hall surrounded by everyone. The wedding was held as scheduled. A series of traditional ceremonies including worshipping heaven and earth, worshipping high halls, and exchanging tokens were carried out in an orderly manner. The 4 young masters of the Ye family were in high spirits, and the 4 brides were also shy and charming. All the guests present praised such a good match. The ceremony reached the most important part, serving tea to Ye Changsheng and his 4 wives. Ye Changsheng, Sun Yirao, Lu Wan, Zhang Yun, and Zhang Fei sat on carefully decorated high seats. The 4 new Liwats came forward one after another, respectfully holding teacups and saluting the elders. Ye Changsheng looked at the 4 brides carefully and nodded secretly in his heart. Sure enough, they are all beautiful women, and no matter their looks or temperament, they are not inferior to the daughters-in-law he had carefully selected before. It seems that his sons have good taste and have chosen excellent daughters-in-law for the family. Taking the teacup, Ye Changsheng took a sip and nodded with satisfaction. He stood up, looked at the 4 couples kindly, and said earnestly, "You can get married. It is a heaven-sent marriage. I hope you cherish each other, respect each other, and contribute to the prosperity of the Ye family together." After that, Ye Changsheng took out 8 exquisite jade boxes from his sleeves and gave 2 to each couple. "This is a little gift from my father. I wish you a happy marriage." The new Liwats took the jade box respectfully, opened it, and were immediately surprised. There were actually 2 crystal clear 3rd level purple mansion fruits inside. The guests present took a breath of cold air when they saw this scene. You know, the 3rd level purple mansion fruit is an extremely precious spiritual fruit, and even some big families may not be able to afford it. Ye Changsheng smiled secretly in his heart. In the past, he really didn't dare to be so generous. Even if he had already reached the Dao court cultivation level, he didn't dare to show it to others easily. But now that he has the 6th level Yuanshan strongman who is about to become his master as a backer, no one dares to covet a mere 3rd level spiritual fruit, no matter how precious it is. The 4 brides saw this generous gift and couldn't help but be more awed by their in-laws. They realized that Ye Changsheng must not be an ordinary Dao court cultivator, and there must be a more powerful support behind him. Chapter 387, Purchase of Magic Treasures. Thinking of this, they became more determined in their decision to marry into the Ye family. After the wedding ceremony, the new Liwats entered the cave amidst the blessings of everyone. The team sending off the bride is also preparing to return. At this moment, Ye Changsheng called his servants and presented 4 exquisite gift plates. "Thank you for your hard work for coming all the way. This is a small gift from my Ye family. Please take it back to your respective families." When the leaders of the 4 wedding parties opened the gift trays and took a look, they were shocked and speechless. On the gift plate, there were 3 teals, each of the 3rd grade high grade enlightenment tea, 2 each of the 3rd grade top grade Tebe pairs, and what was even more jaw-dropping was that there were also 2 each of the 4th grade mid-grade divine moon fruit. The value of this gift has far exceeded their imagination. You must know that the 4th level spiritual fruit is an elusive treasure for most monks. Ye Changsheng smiled and said, "It's just a small gift, but it's not respectful. Please accept it with a smile." People from the 4 families who were attending the wedding ceremony immediately knelt down and kowtowed in thanks. While they were grateful, they secretly rejoiced that marrying their daughter this time was really worth it. Not only did he get to know the powerful Ye family, but he also received such a precious gift in return, which was an unexpected surprise. Looking at everyone's leaving figures, Ye Changsheng's heart was filled with pride and expectation. He believed that after this marriage, the Ye family's reputation would reach a higher level and its future development would be even more brilliant. After the wedding, Ye Changsheng came to the back mountain. He stood in front of 10 4th level low grade dragon nests, took a deep breath, and called loudly, "Little fire." In an instant, a deafening cry sounded in the sky. 8 huge giant crows flew from all directions, covering the sky and the sun. These are the 3-legged fire crows carefully cultivated by Ye Changsheng. They have been advanced to the 4th level Taoist realm for several months now. Ye Changsheng looked up and saw that each of these 3-legged fire crows was 3 feet in size, covered with fiery red feathers, shining with a metallic luster in the sunlight. Their heads have a sharp hooked beak, and their eyes are like 2 burning rubies, exuding the light of wisdom. The most eye-catching thing is their 3 claws. Each one is like a sharp steel knife, shining with cold light. There is a pair of huge wings on its back, which are 5 or 6 feet wide when unfolded, and stir up gusts of wind. Ye Changsheng looked at these majestic 3-legged fire crows, and his heart was filled with pride. He took out 8 3rd-grade high-grade fire demon pills from his storage bag and said softly, "Come on, try this." The 8 3-legged fire crows suddenly became excited. They flew in front of Ye Changsheng in order, carefully picked up the demon pill in their beaks, and then swallowed it in one gulp. Ye Changsheng smiled happily while stroking their soft feathers. "It's not easy," Ye Changsheng murmured to himself, "except for one of the 9 top-level 3-legged fire crows that failed to advance and died. 8 of them were successfully promoted to the 4th level. This will be a powerful help for me. You must know that any 4-level fire crows level monsters are extremely precious." Seeing the 3-legged fire crow's unfinished expressions, Ye Changsheng smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'll get you something new and delicious right now." After saying that, he turned around and left, with a plan in mind. Ye Changsheng thought, and entered the fairy tree space. He came to the Cheyenne Lang vine, carefully picked the Cheyenne Lang flowers, and gently put them into the prepared jade box. Later, Ye Changsheng came to the depths of the retreat, and sat on the Cheyenne altar. He came to the heavenly palace. This place is extremely prosperous and full of all kinds of rare treasures. Ye Changsheng went directly to the 4th floor from the bottom of the heavenly palace, and found the largest elixir pavilion. He walked into the shop and asked the shopkeeper, "Can we collect Cheyenne Lang flowers here? If so, what is the price?" The shop owner was shocked when he heard this and said quickly, "Dragon flower? Of course we will accept it. It's just that this kind of treasure is extremely rare and has not appeared in the entire heavenly palace for a long time. If you have it, I can offer you 30 million high-grade spiritual stones." Ye Changsheng nodded after hearing this, and felt that the price was quite reasonable. He took out the jade box, and opened it gently. The shop owner was so surprised that he couldn't speak when he saw the Cheyenne Lang flowers inside. After careful inspection, the shop owner confirmed the authenticity of Cheyenne Lang flower, and immediately paid Ye Changsheng 60 million high-grade spiritual stones. After receiving this huge sum of money, Ye Changsheng was convinced that he was short of spiritual stones recently, and had not even purchased all his own equipment. Then, Ye Changsheng went to the 3rd to last floor of the heavenly palace, and found a shop that specialized in selling 4th-level magic weapons. He carefully selected, and finally purchased 2 4th-level low-grade magic swords, one with 450,000 high-grade spiritual stones, and the other with 500,000 high-grade spiritual stones. The quality of these 2 magic swords is far better than the ones he bought in Holy Peak City. Ye Changsheng bought another 4th-level high-grade shield, costing 2 million high-grade spiritual stones, in order to make it easier to travel. He also purchased a 4th-level low-grade flying boat, and spent 1 million high-grade spiritual stones. Finally, he selected 5 4th-level high-grade protective robes, which cost a total of 15 million high-grade spiritual stones. After settling the bill, Ye Changsheng calculated that he spent a total of 19.5 million high-grade spiritual stones this time. Although it cost a lot, these equipments were necessary for him and were of high quality, making them worth the investment. After walking out of the store, Ye Changsheng couldn't help but sigh. This spiritual stone is still not enough. It seems that I will have to find ways to make more money in the future. After Ye Changsheng left the magic weapon shop, he was thinking about what else he needed to buy. Suddenly, he remembered the 8 3-legged fire crows he raised. He looked around and soon found a shop specializing in various minerals. The shop was decorated in a simple and elegant style, with a plaque of Wanshi Pavilion hanging at the door. Ye Changsheng walked into the shop, and a faint fragrance of minerals hit him. "Sir, what do you need?" A clerk in a green robe greeted him with a smile. Ye Changsheng got straight to the point. "Excuse me, does your store sell 4th-level fire spirit stones?" The clerk's eyes lit up, and he quickly said, "Young master, you have a good eye. We do have 4th-level fire spirit stones here, but the quantity is not large. As the best of the 4th-level ores, the fire spirit stone contains extremely active fire element, and is a treasure that many weapon refiners and cultivators who practice fire-attributed techniques dream of." Ye Changsheng nodded. "Then how much is it?" The Clark replied respectfully, a fist-sized 4th level low-grade fire spirit stone costs 500,000 high-grade spirit stones. Ye Changsheng thought for a moment and then said, okay, I want 8. The Clark was very surprised and quickly told others to pick up the goods after a while. 8 crystal clear fire spirit stones emitting a faint red light were carefully placed in a special jade box. After checking that they were correct, Ye Changsheng happily paid 4 million high-grade spirit stones. Chapter 388, Son-in-Law Banquet. This transaction made the whole Wanshi Pavilion excited, and the shop owner came out to send it off in person. After leaving the Heavenly Palace, Ye Changsheng returned to the real world. He couldn't wait to come to the back mountain, where the 3-legged fire crow lived. 8 divine birds with fiery red bodies and 3 legs are preening their feathers leisurely. Seeing Ye Changsheng's arrival, they chirped happily and flew to him one after another. Ye Changsheng smiled and stroked their feathers and said, I brought you a big gift today. He took out the fire elf stone and immediately attracted the attention of all the 3-legged fire crows. Their eyes sparkled with excitement, eager to taste this rare delicacy. Ye Changsheng gave each 3-legged fire crow a piece of fire elf stone. They carefully picked up the spirit stone and swallowed it in one gulp. Suddenly, the flames on their bodies became brighter and their feathers glowed with a faint golden light. Ye Changsheng nodded with satisfaction. Absorb it well. It is estimated that it will take a year to completely refine it. Once you have absorbed it, your strength will definitely increase greatly. After settling the 3-legged fire crow, Ye Changsheng thought of his 4 wives again. They have all recently broken through to the Taoist realm and are in need of better protective equipment. So, Ye Changsheng came to the courtyard where Shen Yufeng, King Lion Hong, Chu Yunnan and Hua Jiahua. 4 beautiful ladies were drinking tea and chatting in the courtyard. When they saw Ye Changsheng arriving, they all stood up to greet him. Ye Changsheng smiled and said, I have prepared a gift for each of you. He took out 4 gorgeous 4th grade top grade body protecting robes, each of which exuded a faint aura and was obviously a rare treasure. The 4 ladies were extremely surprised and quickly took over the robes. Shen Yufeng's robe was embroidered with elegant cloud patterns. The green and red robe was dotted with flame patterns. Chu Yunnan's robe had flowing patterns, and Hua Jiao's robe was embroidered with all kinds of beautiful patterns. Flowers. These are 4th level top grade robes. They are not only beautiful, but more importantly, they can provide you with strong protection. You must wear them when you go out for training in the future. I feel at ease. Ye Changsheng warned. The 4 ladies were so moved that they all stepped forward to hug and kiss Ye Changsheng to express their gratitude. Ye Changsheng was surrounded by 4 beauties and his heart was filled with happiness and satisfaction. A month later, the son-in-law banquet for Ye Changsheng's 4 daughters came as scheduled. This grand event attracted more than 300 heroes in the Foundation building realm to participate. The entire Qinghu Peak was decorated with lights and colorful lights, making it very lively. As a representative of the host, Ye Shengyu personally came out to greet guests from all walks of life. Wearing a luxurious blue robe, he behaved well and spoke softly, leaving a deep impression on all the guests afterwards. For wealthy ladies, Ye Shengwen, Ye Shengsun, Ye Shengyao, and Ye Shengru appeared one after another. They each have their own characteristics. Ye Shengwen is dignified and generous. Ye Shengsun is lively and cute. Ye Shengyao is extremely intelligent. And Ye Shengru is gentle and virtuous. The appearance of the 4 young ladies immediately caused a sensation in the audience, and many heroes turned their attention. In order to facilitate the selection of a son-in-law, the venue was divided into 4 areas, each area corresponding to a young lady. The daughter of the Ye family that you like can go to the corresponding area to take the assessment. Each of the 4 ladies set different tests. Some tested their cultivation, some tested their talents, some tested their character, and some focused on appearance. Just when the 4 ladies were about to make their final choices, Ye Changsheng suddenly appeared. As the ancestor of Taoting, he immediately caused a sensation in the audience. When he appeared on the stage, all the heroes knelt down and saluted, and the scene was spectacular. Ye Changsheng smiled and waved to everyone. Everyone, please stand up. Thank you for your hard work and coming all the way to attend my Ye family's son-in-law banquet. No matter what the final result is, you are all heroes in the world of immortality, and you have a bright future. As soon as he finished speaking, Ye Changsheng ordered his attendants to deliver gifts. Each participant received 2 second level life extending flat peaches, 2 second level high quality Taiwan fruits, and 1 purple moon fruit that can increase the chance of building a foundation and advancing to the purple mansion point. Originally, Ye Changsheng no longer had so many purple moon fruits. But Ye Changsheng recently used a drop of 4th level fairy dew to dilute it 1 to 10 and successfully spawned 10 more purple moon fruit trees. Senior Ye is so generous. I didn't expect that. This trip not only opened my eyes, but also gained a lot. The Ye family is truly worthy of its reputation. So generous. Everyone thanked him one after another, and their admiration for the Ye family was even greater. Soon after, the 4 daughters each came to Ye Changsheng with their favorite objects. These 4 lucky people really have their own characteristics. Some are handsome, some are talented, some are thoughtful, and some have cheerful personalities. Ye Changsheng carefully inquired about everyone's background and ambitions, and gave sincere suggestions and encouragement. A month later, the 4 daughters got married on the same day, and the scene was grand and warm. Ye Changsheng prepared a generous dowry for each daughter. A top grade Zifu pill, 99 second level magic weapons, and 99 second level spiritual fruits. He also promised that his daughters could go home and enter the Zifu at any time in the future. The 4 daughters were all very satisfied with their father's arrangements and reluctantly embarked on a new journey in life. Immediately afterwards, Ye Changsheng held a wedding banquet for Ye Shengmei, who had no spiritual roots, although not as grand as its sisters. It is equally warm and lively. The dowry Ye Changsheng prepared for her was a foundation building pill and 10,000 middle grade spiritual stones. In order to highlight the status of the Ye family, he also specially sent Ye Shengmei's half brother Ye Chengqian to lead 4 guests from the purple mansion to escort the bride. This wedding procession caused quite a stir in the world of immortal cultivation, and once again added some prestige to the Ye family. The next morning, Ye Changsheng came to the spiritual fruit garden on Qinghu Peak as usual to check the growth of the spiritual fruit trees. He carefully checked the leaves and fruits of each spiritual fruit tree, and from time to time used his spiritual sense to explore the spiritual energy flow of the trees, just as he was focusing on a longevity peach fruit tree that had just borne fruit. He suddenly felt a strong breath coming from the sky. Ye Changsheng raised his head suddenly and saw a burly, bearded monk appearing in front of him out of thin air, only a few feet away. This sudden change startled Ye Changsheng. He subconsciously took a step back, and his right hand was already on the storage bag, ready to use magic weapons to deal with possible dangers at any time. However, before Ye Changsheng could make any further response, the bearded monk laughed heartily. Ha ha ha. 5th junior brother, hello. I'm your 2nd senior brother Lei Wenchang. As he said, he took out a token from his arms. This is a token, take a look. Ye Changsheng looked at the token carefully and found that it was exactly the same as the token given to him by his master Chu Yuji. Suddenly, his tense nerves relaxed and he withdrew his hand from the storage bag. Ye Changsheng remembered that when he was in the Golden Light Fortress, 3rd senior sister Liu Yuang had mentioned the names of several other senior brothers and sisters. Chapter 389 Second brother. He remembered that his 2nd senior brother Lei Wenchang was a late Taoist monk, but the unruly bearded man in front of him was somewhat different from the image he had imagined. Realizing that he was rude, Ye Changsheng quickly stepped forward and saluted. Greetings to the 2nd senior brother, Lei. Wenchang waved his hand and said with a smile, I found out where you live from your 3rd senior sister. I won't disturb you if you come to the door so suddenly, right? Ye Changsheng said quickly. Where is it? It's not too late for me to welcome you. It's my honor for the 2nd senior brother to come. With that said, he led Lei Wenchang into the Garden of Immortality. The pavilions in the garden are well proportioned and full of aura, showing the extraordinary wealth of the owner. Arriving at an elegant pavilion, Ye Changsheng ordered his parents and children to prepare tea. After a while, a pot of 4th grade high grade enlightenment tea was served. Lei Wenchang took the teacup, took a sip, then closed his eyes and savored it carefully. After a while, he opened his eyes and praised, good tea. I heard your third senior sister say that you are rich, but I didn't expect to be so rich. It seems that I, the senior brother, have found the master of the autumn wind. After hearing this, Ye Changsheng couldn't help but smile. Second senior brother is joking. It's my blessing to be able to serve senior brother. I still have some of this enlightenment tea here, so why don't I give second senior brother a pound as a gift? When Lei Wenchang heard this, he laughed loudly. Okay. Fifth junior brother is really generous. Then I will be disrespectful. The two chatted for a while, and Lei Wenchang gradually turned to the topic. Fifth junior brother, after you entered the Taoist court, did you find it particularly difficult to trade? Even in the holy peak city you have been to before, I'm afraid there are no suitable products. Buy it. Ye Changsheng nodded and admitted, that's true. Since I broke through to the daoting stage, I found that many of the resources I used before were no longer sufficient, but I couldn't find a suitable channel to purchase high level items. Lei Wenchang said meaningfully, this was your disadvantage as a casual cultivator before. After arriving at the 4th level Taoist court, most of the monks at our level mainly engage in bartering, especially those who have no sect background. So, he paused and continued, I'm here this time to give you a long experience. It's time for you to get in touch with the world outside of Ohara's world of immortality. When Ye Changsheng heard this, a trace of expectation flashed in his eyes. What is the second senior brother referring to? Lei Wenchang smiled mysteriously. I plan to take you to Dali Cultivation World. It is much more prosperous than Daoan Cultivation World, and it is also the capital of casual cultivators. You will get used to it soon, when you get there. After hearing this, Ye Changsheng felt both excited and anxious. He knew that this would be an opportunity to broaden his horizons, but it would also mean leaving his familiar environment and entering a new world. Lei Wenchang patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile, believe me, this journey is definitely worth it. Now, you go and prepare first. We will set off early tomorrow morning. Ye Changsheng nodded in agreement. Early the next morning, at dawn, Ye Changsheng had already packed up and was waiting in front of his cave. Not long after, Lei Wenchang came through the morning dew and said with a smile, fifth junior brother, you are so well prepared. It seems that you can't wait to experience the elegance of the Dali cultivation world. Ye Changsheng smiled slightly and replied, second senior brother is right. I'm naturally looking forward to having the opportunity to see a wider world. After a brief exchange of greetings, the two boarded the newly purchased 4th level flying boat by Ye Changsheng. The entire body of this flying boat is pale golden in color, and its streamlined hull design is both beautiful and extremely fast. The interior space of the flying boat is spacious, with multiple functional areas such as a training room and a lounge. It can be said that, although it is small, it has all the internal organs. Following Lei Wenchang's order, the flying boat slowly took off into the sky and soon turned into a golden light and disappeared into the sky point. Because Ye Changsheng advanced to the Taoist level, his speed was much faster than when he was at the 3rd level. In the next 3 months, Ye Changsheng spent most of his time practicing on the flying boat, occasionally discussing his cultivation experience with Lei Wenchang. On the way, they also briefly stopped at some small immortal cultivating cities for supplies, but they didn't stop too much. Finally, in the evening around the 90th day, a towering city appeared in the distant sky. Even from a long distance away, Ye Changsheng could feel the rich aura emanating from that city. Lei Wenchang pointed forward and said, fifth junior brother, that is the center of the Dali cultivation world. Lanyu Immortal City. As the capital of casual cultivators, the most powerful casual cultivators in the entire Longnan Axio Immortal world are gathered here. As the distance got closer, Ye Changsheng finally saw this legendary 6th level fairy city clearly. The towering city walls are engraved with complex formation patterns, and huge statues of guardian beasts stand on both sides of the city gate, as if they will come to life at any time. After entering the city, Ye Changsheng was even more shocked by the sight in front of him. People were coming and going on the wide streets, and Taoist monks were everywhere. From time to time, you could see the deep breathing 5th level Yashu realm experts. Various rare spiritual plants are planted on both sides of the street, exuding a touch of spiritual energy, adding a sense of agility to this bustling fairy city. Lei Wenchang took Ye Changsheng to a high-end, called Yangxiao Pavilion. This inn looks ordinary on the outside, but it's something special on the inside. They each opened a 4th level cave, and planned to rest here for a few days. 7 days later, Lei Wenchang said to Ye Changsheng mysteriously, 5th junior brother, are you ready? I'm going to take you to a high-end exchange meeting. When Ye Changsheng heard this, he immediately became interested. What kind of exchange meeting? Lei Wenchang kept it a secret and only said, you will know when you get there. To left the inn, crossed several busy streets, and came to a seemingly ordinary courtyard. Lei Wenchang took out a communication talisman, and soon, a white-haired old man appeared in front of the door. Lei Wenchang bowed respectfully and said, Senior Wen, long time no see. Ye Changsheng also hurriedly followed suit. The old man called Senior Wen exuded a powerful aura, obviously a powerful person in the 5th level of Yashu realm. The old man waved his hand to indicate that he didn't need to greet him, and asked, Wenchang, what brings you here this time? Lei Wenchang introduced, Senior Wen, this is my 5th junior brother Ye Changsheng. He has just broken through to the deoting stage recently. I want to bring him to see the trade fair you host. Is that okay? The old man stroked his beard, looked at Ye Changsheng, and then said, since he is the disciple of Chulaogdi, he must be good. Well, I will give him a token and let him participate in this trade fair. Ye Changsheng hurriedly stepped forward to take the token, and thanked him sincerely. Led by Wen Haofeng, the three of them passed through several restrictions, and came to a spacious hall. A lot of cultivators had gathered in the hall. Some were talking in low voices, and some were looking at the rare treasures placed everywhere. Chapter 390 Exchange Meeting, Part 3. Lei Wenchang explained to Ye Changsheng in a low voice, 5th brother, this is a large-scale trade fair held once every 10 years. Those who can come here are at least 4th order late-stage cultivators, and there are even 5th order Jade Tree realm masters. There are all kinds of rare resources and treasures gathered here. You can take a good look and exchange whatever you need. After hearing this, Ye Changsheng was both excited and nervous. He took a deep breath and said to Lei Wenchang, thank you, 2nd brother, for bringing me here. I will definitely seize this opportunity. After Ye Changsheng followed Lei Wenchang into the hall. He was shocked by the scene in front of him. The spacious hall gathered 500 or 600 cultivators, including powerful 5th order Jade Tree realm masters with strong auras. Various rare treasures were displayed around the hall, emitting strange light. Lei Wenchang took Ye Changsheng to find a seat and sat down. Each of them had an exquisite wooden box in front of them. Ye Changsheng looked at the wooden box curiously, and found that there were complex runes engraved on its surface, which was obviously a special magic weapon. After a while, an old man with white beard stood on the high platform in the center of the hall. He cleared his throat and said loudly, fellow Taoists, welcome to this trading conference. In order to protect your privacy, we have adopted a special trading method. After each Taoist shows his treasure and explains his needs, those who are interested can put their exchange items into the wooden box in front of them. This wooden box can effectively isolate the divine consciousness and ensure the privacy of the transaction. The old man continued to explain, just press the mechanism on the table and the wooden box will automatically fly to the stage. The Taoists on the stage can choose the treasure they like, put their treasures in, and then clap, and the wooden box will fly back to its original place. This not only ensures the fairness of the transaction, but also protects your privacy. After listening, Ye Changsheng nodded secretly, thinking that this trading method is indeed suitable for him. Although he has a master who is about to be promoted to the 6th level Yuanshan, he doesn't want to be too high profile now. After all, he may trade 4th level or 5th level treasures with the sound of a gong. The trading conference officially began. At first, most of the people who came on stage were 4th level cultivators, and most of the treasures they displayed were precious spiritual medicines, elixirs, and magic weapons. Ye Changsheng carefully observed each treasure, but he didn't like any of them. 2 hours later, a transaction caught Ye Changsheng's attention. A cultivator with the vicissitudes of life took out the core of a 5th level middle grade spiritual fruit, extreme spiritual fruit, which is a rare spiritual fruit that can effectively improve the cultivation of middle level cultivators. In Yashu Point, the cultivator expressed his desire to exchange 4 treasures that would help him advance to the Yashu realm. Ye Changsheng's heart moved, and he immediately took out a purple peach from his storage bag and put it in the wooden box. This was one of the 9 spiritual peaches he had spawned in the fairy tree space not long ago. He pressed the mechanism, and the wooden box flew to the high platform. The cultivator opened the wooden box and smiled with surprise when he saw the purple peach. He carefully took out the spiritual peach and put the core of the extreme spiritual fruit into the wooden box. After Ye Changsheng took back the wooden box, he quietly put away the fruit core, secretly happy in his heart. After another 3 hours, the exchange of the 4th level ended, and it was the turn of the 5th level Yashu realm masters to go on stage to exchange. Various rare spiritual medicines appeared in an endless stream, and Ye Changsheng was dazzled, but most of them were of little use to him. So he never made a move. At this time, a white-haired old man walked onto the high platform. He looked around and said loudly, "Fellow Taoists, I brought 2 treasures this time. One is the core of the 5th level top grade spiritual fruit, the longevity peach, and the other is the 5th level top grade spiritual fruit, the fire god fruit. Needless to say, the longevity peach and the fire god fruit can effectively improve the blood of fire type monsters. I want to exchange for spiritual medicine or elixir that can enhance the advancement of Yashu realm cultivators to the Yuan Shen." As soon as these words came out, there was an uproar at the scene. These 2 treasures are extremely precious 5th level top grade spiritual fruits, which attracted many cultivators to try. Ye Changsheng pondered for a moment and took out a Cheyenne Lang flower that had been prepared long ago from the storage ring bag. He put the Cheyenne Lang flower into the wooden box and pressed the mechanism to send it up. The white-haired old man opened the wooden box and was immediately ecstatic when he saw the Cheyenne Lang flower. He quickly put the longevity peach kernel and the fire god fruit into the wooden box and sent it back to Ye Changsheng. Ye Changsheng was overjoyed and quickly put away the 2 treasures. This transaction can be said to be a win-win situation. He not only got the precious longevity peach kernel, but also the fire god fruit that can enhance the blood of fire monsters. Both treasures are extremely useful to him. Lei Wenchang saw that Ye Changsheng had completed 2 big transactions, and he couldn't help but smile with approval and whispered, "5th junior brother, I didn't expect you to have so many good things hidden. It seems that it is right to bring you here this time." Ye Changsheng smiled modestly, but was secretly glad in his heart. As the trade fair progressed, an old man from Yashu, dressed in a luxurious robe, slowly stepped onto the platform. He held a piece of metal that was shining with strange light in his hand, and said loudly, "My fellow Taoists, this is a piece of Wanling gold. I believe everyone knows how precious it is in refining equipment. I want to exchange it for some elixirs that can improve my cultivation." As soon as these words came out, there was an uproar at the scene. As the top material for refining equipment, Wanling gold has always been in short supply. Many cultivators were eager to move, but they were worried that their treasures were not heavy enough. At this moment, a gleam of light flashed in Lei Wenchang's eyes. He turned to Ye Changsheng and whispered, "5th junior brother, I'm determined to get this piece of Wanling gold. It is crucial to my subsequent cultivation." After that, Lei Wenchang took out a demon pill that exuded a powerful aura from the storage bag and carefully put it into the wooden box. Ye Changsheng could see that this demon pill was of extremely high quality, and it was probably the essence of a 5th level demon beast. Sure enough, when the old ancestor of Yashu opened the wooden box and saw the demon pill, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. He put the Wanling gold into the box without hesitation and send it back to Lei Wenchang. Lei Wenchang was overjoyed and carefully put away the Wanling gold. Just when everyone thought that this was the biggest deal of the day, another old ancestor of Yashu came on stage and brought an even more shocking treasure. "My fellow Taoists, this time I brought a 5th level top grade white tiger demon beast. It has pure blood and powerful strength. I want to exchange it for some spiritual medicine that can break through the bottleneck. As soon as these words came out, the whole hole was boiling instantly. 5th level top grade demon beasts rare, let alone the blood of a divine beast like the white tiger. Many cultivators made bids, but they were all rejected by the old ancestor. Finally, an old woman with a kind face took out a 300,000-year-old Dixon grass and successfully exchanged it for a 5th level white tiger 300,000-year-old Dixon grass. This is a legendary 6th level spiritual medicine point. The sensational effect of this transaction even exceeded the previous wildling gold point. As time went on, more and more rare treasures were taken out for exchange point. The most eye-catching one was the top grade jade tree pill taken out by a mysterious monk. This pill has a 60% success rate for monks to break through the jade tree realm, which attracted everyone to compete for it. Chapter 391 5th level Kung Fu. In a blink of an eye, the trade fair was almost over. Ye Changsheng looked at the spoils in his arms, his heart full of joy. This time, he not only obtained the precious longevity peach core and fire god fruit, but also saw many rare treasures in normal times, which can be said to be a great harvest point. After the meeting, Ye Changsheng specially invited his second brother Lei Wenchang to a banquet to thank him for bringing him to this grand event. The two of them toasted and exchanged cups, chatting happily. After 3 rounds of wine, Lei Wenchang smiled and said, "Fifth brother, we are brothers from the same sect. This little thing is nothing. If you need any help in the future, just let me know." Ye Changsheng's heart moved when he heard this. He took out a purple peach from the storage bag and respectfully presented it with both hands. "Second brother, I know you are about to break through the jade tree realm. This peach may help you." Lei Wenchang looked at the purple peach exuding rich spiritual energy and couldn't help but widen his eyes. He didn't expect that Ye Changsheng actually had such a precious treasure. After a little hesitation, he solemnly took the peach and said sincerely, "Fifth junior brother, thank you for your generous gift. If you have any difficulties in the future, just come to me." After the banquet, Lei Wenchang said that he still had some business to deal with, so he left first. Ye Changsheng also took this opportunity to express his desire to go home and rest. The two said goodbye at the city gate and set off on their own journey. Ye Changsheng traveled all the way and took a full 3 months to finally return to Qinghu Peak, which he had been away from for a long time. After Ye Changsheng returned to Qinghu Peak, he couldn't wait to come to the retreat room. He thought about it and entered the fairy tree space. It has been 1 year and 7 months since he was promoted to the Daoting realm, and the fairy tree space has generated another drop of precious 5th level fairy dew. Ye Changsheng decided to use this drop of fairy dew to give birth to the 5th level longevity peach. He carefully took out the longevity peach core he had obtained before and gently placed it on the open space. Then, he held his breath and concentrated, slowly dripping the 5th level fairy dew onto the fruit core. In an instant, the fruit core burst into dazzling light, and a strong vitality spread. Ye Changsheng stared at this magical scene intently. The fruit core quickly took root and sprouted, and in the blink of an eye it grew into a lush longevity peach tree. The tree produced 9 5th level longevity peaches with cloud patterns, each of which exuded an alluring fragrance. Ye Changsheng carefully picked 8 and put them into the carefully prepared jade box. He planned to keep the remaining 1 for future use. After completing all this, Ye Changsheng left the fairy tree space and came to the altar of the heavenly palace. He took a deep breath, and with a thought, he instantly came to the heavenly palace. Ye Changsheng went straight to the 4th to last floor of the heavenly palace and soon found the shop that sold Xianlang flowers. Last time. The owner saw him coming again and greeted him warmly. Ye Changsheng asked about the purchase price of the 5th level longevity peaches, and the shop owner's eyes lit up and quoted a high price of 25 million high-grade spirit stones per peach. Ye Changsheng took out 8 5th level longevity peaches without hesitation. After a careful inspection, the shop owner happily paid 200 million high-grade spirit stones. This was the first time in Ye Changsheng's life that he had such a huge fortune. He was both excited and nervous with this huge sum of money. Ye Changsheng came to the most prestigious martial arts shop in the heavenly palace, one for Pavilion. As soon as he stepped into the store, he was attracted by the rich spiritual energy and ancient atmosphere. The shop owner was a white-haired old man When he saw Ye Changsheng coming in, he smiled and asked, "Fellow Daoist, are you here to look for martial arts?" Ye Changsheng nodded and said, "I want to buy some 5th level martial arts. Does your store have any recommendations?" The old man's eyes flashed, and then he introduced enthusiastically, "Our Wanfa Pavilion has collected the top martial arts from all sects in the world. The 5th level martial arts include U-0027 Jiushin Zuanio and Gangu 0027, U-0027 Tei Jingu and Ju 0027, U-0027 Tei Shangdao and Scriptures, Takesu Huan Miju, Jiushin Zuanio and Sutra. Tei Zuanio and Sutra, etc. Which one do you want to practice?" Ye Changsheng was overwhelmed by what he heard, and after careful consideration, he said, "Senior, I want to learn all kinds of exercises as comprehensively as possible. Can you recommend a set of exercises covering all major categories for me?" The old man was overjoyed when he heard this, and immediately selected 35th level exercises for Ye Changsheng, covering all the main cultivation systems in the world of immortal cultivation. He smiled and said, "These 30 exercises, on average, each one costs 10 million high-grade spirit stones. However, since you bought so many at one time, I will give you a discount, 20% off, and you can take them all away for 240 million spirit stones." After hearing this, Ye Changsheng felt a pain in his heart, but thinking of the value of these exercises, he gritted his teeth and nodded in agreement. After all, the 5th level exercises are very precious. That is, they can be purchased in the Heavenly Palace at a cost of 10 million high-grade spirit stones. If you want to buy such a fine 5th level technique at an auction in Longnan Xiuxianji, you will probably need at least 5 billion spirit stones. He took out all the spirit stones, which were just enough to pay this huge fee. After the transaction was completed, Ye Changsheng's storage bag had 30 more precious 5th level techniques, but there were only a few spirit stones left. He looked at the empty purse and couldn't help but smile bitterly, thinking, "It seems that I have to start the days of thrifty living again." Ye Changsheng left the Heavenly Palace with a full harvest and returned to the real world. He couldn't wait to rush back to Qinghu Peak and carefully put the 35th level techniques he had just purchased into the technique pavilion. In order to protect these precious techniques, Ye Changsheng spent a lot of time and effort to set up restrictions. Then, he set up multiple protective formations inside the technique pavilion to ensure that, even if someone broke in, they could not easily access these techniques. After doing all this, Ye Changsheng breathed a sigh of relief, and his heart was full of a sense of accomplishment. He immediately summoned all his wives and children to prepare to announce the good news soon. Qinghu Peak was bustling with excitement, and Ye Changsheng's family members came one after another, curiously waiting for his announcement. Ye Changsheng looked around with a proud smile on his face and said, "Everyone, I have a great news to tell you." He slowly told the story of purchasing 35th level techniques, which immediately caused a burst of exclamations. Everyone showed an expression of disbelief on their faces, and some young children even jumped up with excitement. Ye Changsheng continued, "These techniques cover all the major cultivation systems in the world of immortal cultivation. From today on, you can freely choose the techniques that suit you. But remember, these techniques must not be passed on to others, otherwise you will bear the consequences." His wife Shen Yufeng asked excitedly, "Husband, are these techniques really not restrictive to us?" Ye Changsheng nodded and smiled. "Yes, you can choose whatever you want. But I suggest that you choose according to your own qualifications and expertise, so that you can get twice the result with half the effort." The crowd cheered again. Before, everyone's techniques were all 4th level, and there were also restrictions on the sect. Now there are so many 5th level techniques to choose from, which is a huge surprise for them. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 392, Golden Sword Tree. Ye Changsheng's second son, Ye Changyu, said excitedly, "Father, with these techniques, our Qinghu lineage will surely rise in the world of immortal cultivation." Ye Changsheng nodded with satisfaction. "Yes, this is exactly what I thought. These 35th level techniques can lay the foundation for our Ye family to last forever. As long as you practice diligently, in time, our Ye family will surely become a 5th level immortal family." His words were full of confidence, because he knew that he still had the golden finger of the fairy tree space, coupled with the convenient conditions of the heavenly palace. The future of the Ye family was bright. Afterwards, Ye Changsheng led everyone to the technique pavilion and personally selected the most suitable technique for everyone. Looking at the family members happily studying the new techniques, Ye Changsheng was filled with happiness. He secretly made up his mind to make the Ye family stronger and stronger in the world of immortal cultivation, and create a better future for future generations. Then Ye Changsheng returned to the retreat room. Now it was time to start a new journey of cultivation. He chose the Taizuan Sutra as his main practice, which attracted him with its profound and mysterious content and broad development potential. In the next 6 months, Ye Changsheng devoted himself to the transformation of the practice. Although he only transformed to the 4th level practice, the process was still difficult. He kept comprehending the scriptures day and night, adjusting the spiritual power running route in his body, and transforming the original practice into the operation mode of the Taizuan Sutra bit by bit. During this period, Ye Changsheng experienced countless failures and setbacks. Sometimes, a small deviation in the operation of spiritual power would cause the whole day's efforts to go to waste. But he never gave up, and every failure made him more determined. Finally, at the end of the 6th month, Ye Changsheng felt a complete change in the operation of spiritual power in his body, marking the successful completion of the practice transformation. However, the road of cultivation is endless. After completing the practice transformation, Ye Changsheng quickly turned his attention to his life magic weapon. He knew that, after changing the practice, the original life magic weapon was no longer suitable. The Taizuan Sutra records in detail a life-defining magic weapon called Zuaniuan Golden Sword, which is extremely sharp and powerful. Most importantly, its main material comes from a spiritual plant called the Golden Sword Tree. This discovery made Ye Changsheng ecstatic. The Golden Sword Tree is a spiritual plant that can continuously advance as a cultivator's realm improves, which means that when he is promoted to the 5th and 6th levels in the future, he does not need to change his life-defining magic weapon, and can always use this Zuaniuan Golden Sword. This is undoubtedly a huge advantage. In order to create this Zuaniuan Golden Sword, Ye Changsheng began new preparations. He entered the fairy tree space again, and used the 5th level top grade longevity peach that he had kept before to give birth to a new longevity peach tree. The 9 5th level longevity peaches with cloud patterns on the tree exuded an attractive aroma. Ye Changsheng carefully picked 8 of them, and kept the remaining 1 for future use. After leaving the fairy tree space, Ye Changsheng immediately went to the heavenly palace, and came to the 4th floor from the bottom of the heavenly palace again. He found the shop he had visited last time, and sold 8 5th level longevity peaches, earning another 200 million high quality spirit stones. Although this was the second time he had obtained such a huge fortune, Ye Changsheng still felt his heartbeat accelerate. With this huge sum of money, Ye Changsheng came to the 3rd floor from the bottom of the heavenly palace. There were seeds of various rare spiritual plants gathered here, and he began to search carefully for the seeds of the Golden Sword Tree. However, this was not an easy task. As a 4th level spiritual plant, the seeds of the Golden Sword Tree were already rare. Ye Changsheng visited dozens of shops and asked countless times, but always returned in vain. Just when he was about to give up, an inconspicuous shop attracted his attention. There was a plaque with the words Wan Muse hanging at the door of the shop, which looked a bit old. Holding the last glimmer of hope, Ye Changsheng walked in. The furnishings in the shop were simple, but there was an ancient atmosphere everywhere. An old man with white hair and beard was tidying up the shelves. Seeing a customer coming in, he turned around slowly. "Fellow Daoist, are you looking for any special seeds?" the old man asked with a smile. Ye Changsheng bowed respectfully. "I'm looking for the seeds of the Golden Sword Tree. I wonder if you have any here." The Old man heard this, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. Golden sword tree. This is a rare thing. He pondered for a moment, turned and walked to a small cabinet deep in the store. After a while, he came back with an exquisite jade box in his hand. You are lucky. There is one here. Ye Changsheng was overjoyed and asked the price immediately. When he learned that it only cost 100,000 high quality spirit stones, he paid without hesitation. Before leaving, the old man said meaningfully, the golden sword tree is a rare spiritual plant. I hope you can make good use of it. With the hard-earned golden sword tree seeds, Ye Changsheng couldn't wait to return to the real world, and then entered the fairy tree space. He carefully buried the seeds in the soil, and then dripped a drop of 4th level fairy dew. In an instant, a golden light shot up into the sky. Ye Changsheng stared at the magical scene in front of him. A golden tree grew at a speed visible to the naked eye, and soon grew to more than 3 meters high. This golden sword tree was amazingly beautiful. The trunk showed a metallic luster, and each leaf was like a small sword, pointing straight to the sky. Under the sunlight, the whole tree shone brightly, like a fine work of art. The edge of the leaves is as sharp as a knife, and a light touch can cut a finger. The crown of the tree presents a perfect cone shape, and the dense sword leaves are stacked layer by layer, and the number is staggering. Ye Changsheng carefully counted, and found that there are more than 7,800 leaves on this golden sword tree, far exceeding his expectations. According to the records in the Zuanian Sutra, 3,650 golden sword leaves are needed to cast the Zuanian golden sword. The current number is completely sufficient, and there are even surpluses. Looking at this dazzling golden sword tree, Ye Changsheng's heart was full of joy and expectation. He knew that he was one step closer to the Zuanian golden sword of his dreams. Just as Ye Changsheng was about to take the next step, someone came to report that a Taoist monk was looking for him. Ye Changsheng hurried out of seclusion and asked someone to welcome the Taoist monk in. A woman in a lavender dress walked in. Ye Changsheng looked closely and was immediately surprised. Dao Bao Su, he exclaimed. Why are you here? The person who came was Su Mengli. She smiled and bowed to Ye Changsheng. Dao Ye, long time no see. I just finished my service and came to visit. Ye Changsheng looked at Su Mengli carefully and found that her aura was deeper and more restrained than before. Obviously, her cultivation had made great progress. Congratulations to Dao Su for being promoted to the Daoting realm. Chapter 393 Buying a maid. Ye Changsheng said sincerely. Su Mengli smiled and nodded. Thank you, fellow Daoist Ye. By the way, I have one more thing to do this time. As she spoke, she took out an exquisite storage bag from her sleeve and handed it to Ye Changsheng. This is the spiritual stone used by fellow Daoist Ye to sell the 4th grade high grade enlightenment tea. A total of 500 million spiritual stones were auctioned. After deducting a 100 million handling fee, here are 400 million spiritual stones. Ye Changsheng took the storage bag and put it away without counting it. Thank you, fellow Daoist Su. Mengli looked around and suddenly showed a look of surprise. Fellow Daoist Ye, I didn't know until I came here this time that you actually had such a big family fortune. I heard that there are 4 ladies in the Taoist realm alone. Ye Changsheng smiled sheepishly. No, it's just a trivial matter, Su. Mengli continued. However, I did notice a strange thing. On Daoist fellow Ye spiritual peak, the maids seem to be key refining monks. You and your wives are all great monks in the Taoist realm. Hearing this, Ye Changsheng coughed in embarrassment. Indeed, the cultivation level of these maids is a bit low. They are all key refining clan members of the Ye family. If they advance to foundation establishment, it will be difficult to let them become a maid. Su Mengli rolled her eyes and said with a smile, in that case, why don't fellow Daoist Ye consider buying some maids in our zodiac society? We are one of the largest slave monk trading organizations in the Longnan world. We have many well-trained slaves here. The beautiful foundation building maids. If fellow Daoist Ye is interested, I can personally check and carefully select them for you. However, the spiritual roots of these female cultivators are not that good. Ye Changsheng thought for a moment and felt that Su Mengli was right. The treatment of my 4 Taoist realm ladies does not match. All right. He nodded and said, then I'll buy some. I calculated that it should be enough for each of the 4 Daoting realm ladies to have 20 foundation building maids. The Zifu realm is equipped with 4, and I will equip 10 more myself. Then buy 150. Hearing this, a hint of surprise flashed in Sumengli's eyes. Okay, if it's not enough, you can buy more in the future. I will definitely visit a big customer like Dao often. Each maid has 4 million spiritual stones, and a total of 100 million. Without saying a word, Ye Changsheng pushed the storage bag back, and took out 2 million high-grade spiritual stones from his own storage bag, making up a total of 600 million. Sumengli beamed with joy. Thank you, fellow Daoist Ye. Within 3 months, these 150 foundation building maids will be delivered to the house. But, Ye Changsheng nodded in agreement. Before leaving, Sumengli asked again. After Dao Ye entered the Taoist court, he must have more good things, right? Are there any rare things that I can take back for business? Ye Changsheng thought for a moment, took out 10 Yunmeng white pears from the storage bag, and introduced the value of this 4th grade high grade spiritual fruit to Sumengli. This is a Yunmeng white pear tree that he recently gave birth to. It was originally intended for the ladies. It seems that I have to give birth to another one. Sumengli's eyes lit up. Ye Dao eyes indeed. It seems that we will have many cooperation opportunities in the future. Ye Changsheng smiled modestly. No, they're just gadgets. After exchanging a few words, Sumengli said goodbye and left. After Ye Changsheng said goodbye to Sumengli, he was thinking about the upcoming casting of the 4th level natal magic weapon. He knew that this project was no small matter and required the assistance of a 4th level weapon master. Thinking of this, he immediately took out a jade messenger and sent a message to his second senior brother Lei Wenchang. Second senior brother, I have recently broken through to the Taoist realm and want to forge a 4th level natal magic weapon. I heard that my senior brother is already a 4th level high grade weapon refiner. I wonder if you can take the time to come and help me. Ye Changsheng said respectfully in the Jade Talisman. After sending the message, Ye Changsheng returned to reality from the cultivation space. He suddenly remembered that his 7 treasure good should give birth to the 4th level. So he came to the 7 treasure good vine, carefully took out a drop of 4th level fairy dew, and gently dropped it on the good vine. In an instant, the last 4 goods began to expand rapidly, turning from green to yellow, and finally turned into golden 4th level treasure goods. Ye Changsheng happily picked them off and looked at them carefully. Although it is already a 4th level treasure good, to refine it into a 4th level magic weapon, the help of the second senior brother is needed. Sighing, Ye Changsheng put away the good and began a 3-month retreat. One day 3 months later, a huge third-order passenger boat suddenly appeared in the sky above Kinghu Peak. This dark flying boat was filled with monks wearing black robes and face shields. The several Zifu period monks headed by them were very powerful and were obviously higher-level officials of the Zodiac Society. The passenger boat slowly landed on the Kinghu Peak. The leader of the Zifu monks stepped forward and saluted. Li Zuan, the deacon of the Zodiac Society, has been ordered to deliver the 150 female cultivators in the foundation building period ordered by Senior Ye. Immediately, 150 beautiful looking female cultivators in the foundation building stage were taken off the flying boat. Most of them were at the 1st or 2nd level of foundation building. With a bit of fear and expectation in their eyes, Li Zuan respectfully handed over a stack of jade talismans and said, "This is the control jade talisman of these slave cultivators. Please accept it, fellow Daoist Ye." Ye Changsheng carefully counted the number of people and the jade talismans. After confirming that they were correct, he nodded and said, "Thank you, Deacon Li, for your hard work." Li Zuan smiled and said, "Senior Ye, you're welcome. If you still need anything, you can contact our Zodiac Club at any time." After saying that, he took the others onto the spaceship and disappeared into the sky in the blink of an eye. Ye Changsheng turned around and told the maids behind him, "Go and ask all the ladies to choose the maids." Soon, Ye Changfeng's 19 ladies gathered together. Ye Changsheng smiled and said, "Ladies, these are the maids I prepared for you. Ladies in the Daoting realm can choose 20, and those in the Zifu realm can choose 4. When your cultivation level improves in the future, I will make up the maids for you. The ladies cheered and started to choose. They looked at each maid carefully, asked about their specialties and hobbies, and some even asked the maids to show their magic. The whole process lasted for several hours, full of laughter. In the end, there were 10 maids left. Ye Changsheng led them to his Changsheng garden and said, "From now on, you will be my personal maids. I hope you can do your best, and I will treat you well." The 10 maids saluted respectfully and said in unison, "We will obey the master's orders." Ye Changsheng nodded with satisfaction and began to arrange their accommodation and duties. He thought that with these maids, daily life and cultivation would be much more convenient. 3 months later, King Hu Peak welcomed a long-lost guest. The figure of the second brother Lei Wenchang appeared at the mountain gate. He walked towards Ye Changsheng with a hearty laugh. "Fifth brother, you must be waiting impatiently." Chapter 394, Refining Equipment. Lei Wenchang patted Ye Changsheng on the shoulder. "I was delayed by something over there, but don't worry, you know the speed of my weapon refining. I will definitely make it in time." Ye Changsheng waved his hands quickly and said respectfully, "What did the second senior brother say? It's already an honor for me to have you here. How dare I say anything about whether it's urgent or not?" The two chatted for a while, and Ye Changsheng settled the second senior brother in the Qingfeng pavilion specially prepared for distinguished guests. Early the next morning, Ye Changsheng couldn't wait to take out the secret of weapon refining and 3,650 golden sword leaves. Second senior brother, these are the materials and methods for refining a golden lightsaber. Ye Changsheng explained, "The special thing about this magic weapon is that it does not require other metals or elixirs. It only needs to melt and shape the golden sword leaves and then carve a special formation." Lei Wenchang carefully read through the secrets and checked the quality of the golden sword leaf. He nodded with a smile and said, "It is indeed simple, but the smelting process may be a bit troublesome. Let's go to your Kyankan house, where the 4th level spiritual energy is in full swing, suitable for refining 4th level magic weapons." The two came to the Kyankan room in Changsheng Garden. It was a secret room shrouded in a 4th order formation. The spiritual energy inside was so rich that it almost condensed into liquid. Lei Wenchang nodded with satisfaction and began to arrange the magic circles and tools needed for weapon refining. "Fifth junior brother, come and assist me," Lei Wenchang commanded. "First divide these golden sword leaves into 365 parts, with 10 pieces in each part." Ye Changsheng followed the instructions and started sorting the golden sword leaves. These golden sword leaves are golden in color, emitting a faint light, and feel as cold as jade. During the sorting process, Ye Changsheng couldn't help but sigh at the preciousness of these spiritual plants. At the same time, Lei Wenchang had already begun to arrange the weapon refining formation. His movements were smooth and flowing, and runes flashed in the air, eventually forming a complex 3-dimensional pattern. "Alright, Lei Wenchang wiped the sweat from his forehead. Now we start smelting. Put in one portion of the golden sword leaf at a time, and then use magic to control the heat to completely melt it." Ye Changsheng carefully placed the first golden sword leaf into the center of the formation. Lei Wenchang made a secret with his hands, and a strange flame appeared out of thin air, wrapping the golden sword leaves in it. Under the high temperature, the golden sword leaves began to melt and turned into a ball of golden liquid. "Pay attention to controlling the temperature," Lei Wenchang reminded. "If it is too high, it will destroy the spirituality of the golden sword leaf, and if it is too low, it will not be fully integrated." Ye Changsheng concentrated on cooperating with the second senior brother's movements and adjusting the mana output. As time went by, he gradually mastered the trick and the smelting speed became faster and faster. 3 days later, all 365 golden sword leaves were smelted. Lei Wenchang nodded with satisfaction and said, "The next step is the most critical step, shaping and carving the formation." He began to manipulate the huge golden liquid, slowly stretching and flattening it, and finally formed a 3-foot-long sword embryo. The blade is smooth and graceful, and the edge is extremely sharp. Even the unfinished product exudes amazing edge. "Now, let's start carving the formation." Lei Wenchang's expression was solemn. "This requires extremely high concentration and precision. Fifth junior brother, you are here to protect me. Don't let anyone disturb me." Ye Changsheng nodded in agreement and immediately set up an isolation formation around him. Lei Wenchang took a deep breath and began to carve complex runes on the sword. Every stroke is extremely precise and flawless. As the number of runes increased, the sword began to glow with a faint golden light. This process lasted a full month. During this period, Lei Wenchang had almost no rest and devoted himself wholeheartedly to carving the formation. Ye Changsheng is responsible for maintaining the operation of the formation, always paying attention to the condition of the second senior brother, and replenishing his spiritual power in a timely manner. Finally, the last rune carving was completed. Lei Wenchang breathed a long sigh of relief, with a happy smile on his face. Success, he said. The next step is the final tempering and sacrifice. In the next 2 months, Lei Wenchang and Ye Changsheng continued to temper the golden sword. They used various unique techniques and spells to remove the remaining impurities from the sword body one by one, while constantly strengthening the toughness and sharpness of the sword body. In this process, Ye Changsheng also learned many skills in weapon refining. He marveled at the superb skills of the second senior brother, and at the same time he understood the hardship of refining weapons better. 3 months passed in a blink of an eye. When the last process was completed, a long sword emitting bright golden light was suspended in the air. The runes on the sword are looming, exuding powerful spiritual energy fluctuations. 5th junior brother, it's done, Lei Wenchang said with a smile. The next step is up to you. Use your blood to refine it and make it your natural magic weapon. Ye Changsheng took a deep breath and began the final sacrificial process. He slowly poured his essence, blood, and consciousness into the golden light sword, establishing a mind-to-heart relationship with the sword. This process lasted for 7 days and nights. When Ye Changsheng opened his eyes, the golden light sword had completely recognized its owner, and the aura it exuded was connected with his mind. He made a slight move, and the golden sword flew into his hand like an arm. Thank you, second senior brother, Ye Changsheng said sincerely, his eyes full of gratitude. Lei Wenchang laughed loudly. You're welcome. You and I are brothers. You said well. I believe this sword will be able to exert its greatest power in your hands. Ye Changsheng nodded and put the golden sword into his danshan. After Ye Changsheng put the golden light sword into his danshan, his heart was filled with joy and gratitude. He looked at Lei Wenchang deeply and then took out the 4th level treasure good from the storage bag. Second brother, I have another treasure here. I wonder if you can help me take a look. Ye Changsheng carefully handed the good to Lei Wenchang. Lei Wenchang took the good and looked at it carefully. His eyes widened and a look of surprise appeared on his face. 5th brother, where did you get this? This is a 4th level swallowing good. He couldn't put it down and played with the good, his eyes flashing with excitement. 5th junior brother, you are really lucky this time, Lei Wenchang said with a smile. You are lucky to meet me. I happen to be proficient in refining this kind of heaven swallowing good. However, to refine it into a real magic weapon, a lot of auxiliary materials are needed. Ye Changsheng's eyes lit up and he asked hurriedly, second senior brother, can you help me refine it? Lei Wenchang pondered for a moment and said, well, I just happened to go to Delhi to do some things. You should not be in a hurry to use it, so why don't I take it to Delhi to refine it for you? After a few years of refining, I will bring it back to you. Ye Changsheng was overjoyed and hurriedly thanked him. Thank you, second senior brother. I will prepare some spirit stones so that you can buy the ingredients. Lei Wenchang waved his hand and smiled. You and I are brothers. I still have this stuff. I don't need your spirit stones. Just wait for me for a few years. Chapter 395 4 More Girls Advance. After saying that, Lei Wenchang put away the good, set up his flying boat, said goodbye to Ye Changsheng, and left. Ye Changsheng watched his second senior brother leave, feeling grateful in his heart. He was about to go back to rest when he saw 4 women, Lin Ziruo, Liu Ruan, Miranking and Suyarao, coming in a hurry. Husband, our cultivation has reached the peak of Zifu, and we need to advance, Lin Ziruo said excitedly. After hearing this, Ye Changsheng thought for a while and said, although Kaiankan Pavilion is a good place for cultivation, it is a simulated spiritual land after all. It is still a little bit ineffective for advancement. I suggest you go to Holy Peak City to break through. the spiritual energy there is stronger and more conducive to your breakthrough. After hearing this, the 4 girls nodded in agreement. Ye Changsheng immediately began to prepare the items needed for them to break through. He took out 4 spirit moon leaves, 4 divine moon fruits and 4 bunches of spirit incense from the storage bag, and handed them to the 4 women respectively. These are auxiliary items when breaking through, which can increase the success rate of your breakthrough, Ye Changsheng explained. In addition, I will prepare another 1 million high-grade spiritual stones for each of you. After your breakthrough, you can buy some magic weapons suitable for you in Holy Peak City. The 4 girls were deeply moved and thanked them repeatedly. Ye Changsheng called the 4 girls Shen Yufeng, King Lion Hong, Chu Yunnan and Hua Jiayu, and ordered, the 4 of you will drive a flying boat to escort them to Holy Peak City and protect them when they break through. After the arrangements were made, Ye Changsheng warned again, be careful on the road. If you encounter any danger, send a signal to notify me immediately. The 8 women responded in unison, and then left in the flying boat. Ye Changsheng watched them go away, silently wishing them a smooth breakthrough in his heart. After everything was arranged, Ye Changsheng returned to his cave. He sat cross-legged, and began to sort out the gains and insights he had gained during this period. The refining process of the golden sword gave him a deeper understanding of the art of refining. And the sky swallowing good that was about to be refined made him full of expectations for the future. It's time to practice in seclusion again, Ye Changsheng murmured to himself, and immediately entered the cultivation state. Time flies, and 1 year and 3 months have passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Ye Changsheng was practicing in seclusion when he suddenly felt a powerful aura coming from a distance. He immediately opened his eyes with a delighted smile on his face. There, back, Ye Changsheng murmured to himself, then stood up and left the cave. Sure enough, 4 streams of light appeared in the distant sky, heading towards Kyankan Pavilion at high speed. Ye Changsheng took a closer look and saw that it was Lin Ziruo, Liu Ruan, Miranking and Suyurao. Their auras were much stronger than when they left, and they had obviously successfully broken through to the Taoist realm. After the 4 girls landed, they immediately saluted Ye Changsheng. Husband, we are back, Lin Ziruo said excitedly. Thanks to my husband's guidance and prepared resources, we all successfully broke through. Ye Changsheng nodded happily. I'm honored that you can successfully break through. Come, let's hold a grand celebration ceremony. With that said, Ye Changsheng immediately arranged for his servants to prepare the banquet. Soon, the entire Qinghu Peak was immersed in a joyful atmosphere. At the banquet, there was a lot of good wine and delicious food, and everyone congratulated the 4 girls while drinking and drinking. Lin Ziruo raised her wine glass and said with emotion, thanks to your husband's cultivation, we can achieve what we have today. I respect my husband for this glass of wine. The other 3 women also raised their glasses to express their gratitude to Ye Changsheng. Ye Changsheng smiled and clinked glasses with them, his heart filled with pride and joy. This grand celebration lasted for 3 full days before it ended. During this period, Ye Changsheng also specially arranged a song and dance performance so that the entire Qinghu Peak was immersed in a sea of joy. After the celebration, Ye Changsheng did not stop. He went to the Heavenly Palace again and purchased 4 4th level lower grade Kyankan houses, spending 32 million high grade spiritual stones. He also purchased 4 4th grade high grade protective robes, spending 12 million high grade spiritual stones. These Kyankan houses will be used as training places for the new 4 girls later. Ye Changsheng contacted people from the Zodiac Society and added 16 foundation building maids for each of the 4 girls, spending a total of about 2.5 million high-grade spiritual stones. These maids can not only take care of the 4 girls' daily life, but also provide assistance during practice. The new 4 girls are very satisfied with Ye Changsheng's arrangement. The only regret is that they do not have the 4th level high-grade dragon and 100-flower fairy boats like the previous 4 girls. In response, Ye Changsheng promised to take them on a trip when he has time and then buy them for them. Next, Ye Changsheng took out 40 more Cheyenne Huang fruits, which were the fruits of 3 Cheyenne Huang fruit trees that he had spawned during his free time and retreat. He gave 10 of them to the 4 newly promoted women, each of whom received 2.5. This Cheyenne Huang fruit can help you stabilize your cultivation and improve your skills, Ye Changsheng explained. You have just made a breakthrough. It is the time when you need to stabilize your elm. The four girls gratefully accepted the Cheyenne Huang fruit and put it away carefully. Finally, Ye Changsheng took out 8 more Yunmeng white pears and distributed them to the 8 ladies of the Taoist realm. This Yunmeng Bailey can enhance your skills for 200 years, Ye Changsheng introduced. It is undoubtedly a precious gift for you. The 8 girls were shocked when they heard the news. Lin Zero exclaimed, "Oh my god. 200 years of cultivation? Husband, this Yunmeng white pear is too precious. Can we really do it?" Liu Ruyan also said excitedly, "Yes, husband. Such a treasure is probably extremely rare even in the heavenly palace, right?" Murong King was so moved that her eyes were filled with tears. "Husband is so good to us. With this Yunmeng white pear, our cultivation will surely advance by leaps and bounds." The other women also expressed their shock and gratitude. Ye Changsheng looked at their excitement and his heart was filled with warmth. "You are all my beloved ones, so I will naturally make the best preparations for you," Ye Changsheng said softly. "I hope these resources can help you go further on the road of cultivation." After hearing this, the women cast grateful and admiring eyes at Ye Changsheng. At this moment, the entire Changsheng garden was bathed in a happy and warm atmosphere. 2 months passed quietly, and Changsheng garden was still peaceful. That day, a familiar figure appeared at the gate of the garden. It was Su Mengli. Ye Changsheng personally came out to greet her and led her into the reception room. The two exchanged pleasantries for a while. And then Su Mengli got straight to the point. "Fellow Daoist Yi, the last auction of Yunmeng white pears was very successful." She smiled and took out an exquisite jade box from her storage bag. Each piece was sold at a high price of 180 million spirit stones, and the 10 pieces totaled 1.8 billion spirit stones. After deducting the auction fee, here are 1.44 billion spirit stones. Please count them. Chapter 396, Concubine with Heavenly Spiritual Roots. Ye Changsheng took the jade box and confirmed it with a glance of his consciousness. He nodded with satisfaction and said, "Thank you, Fairy Su, for taking the trouble. This price is indeed beyond Ye Changsheng's expectation. It is possible that tens of millions of spiritual stones can be sold in Xiangang. It seems that prices in the real world are indeed much higher." Su Mengli chuckled and said, "Master Yi's treasure is naturally extraordinary. However, I have one more important thing to tell you this time." Ye Changsheng raised his eyebrows and motioned for her to continue. "Next month our Zodiac will hold a grand auction, and we specially invite Mr. Yi to participate." Su Mengli blinked mysteriously. "There are many good things in this auction that Mr. Yi has been longing for." Ye Changsheng was a little confused. "Oh, what is it specifically?" Su Mengli explained with a smile. "Our Zodiac Association has recently established contact with the 3 major immortal realms of Daxu, Dahan and Oi in the northern part of the Longnan world. Many rare items have been introduced from there, including the Shineling that Mr. Yi likes. Genji concubines. They are all in the foundation building stage and have outstanding looks, and there are quite a few of them." When Ye Changsheng heard this, his eyes lit up. Although he no longer needed concubines, he suddenly became interested when he thought of his many sons. Women with Shineling roots are an excellent choice for reproducing offspring. "Okay," Ye Changsheng said excitedly. "This is really good news. I will definitely participate. Please Fairy Su, please give me a good seat." Su Mengli nodded in agreement and then made another request. "Master Yi, do you have any rare items that you would like to auction this time? Our Zodiac Association will always value our cooperation with you." Ye Changsheng pondered for a moment, and in order to maintain this precious relationship, he decided to donate generously again. He took out a jade box from the storage bag, and after opening it, there were 10 crystal clear fruits lying inside. These are 10 fairy root fruits. They were originally prepared for my wives, but now that Fairy Su has spoken, I naturally cannot refuse." Ye Changsheng smiled and handed the jade box to Su Mengli. Su Mengli's eyes widened in surprise. She didn't expect Ye Changsheng to be so generous. The immortal root fruit is an extremely rare treasure, a magical spiritual fruit that can increase the qualifications of a cultivator. Fellow Daoist Ye, this is too precious, Su. Mengli said uneasily. Ye Changsheng waved his hand. It doesn't matter, I spent a lot of money to bring you glory in front of my boss, Mengli. Would like to thank fellow Daoist Ye again for being here, Su. Mengli said solemnly. In fact, these 10 fairy root fruits were also prepared by Ye Changsheng for his wives in the future, but it is easy to obtain them again. They can give birth to another fairy root fruit tree in the future. Su Mengli took a deep breath and was once again shocked by Ye Changsheng's financial resources. She sincerely praised, Master Ye is indeed a wealthy man. He always brings surprises to us every time he comes. Your generosity will be remembered by our zodiac sign. The two chatted for a while, and then Su Mengli stood up and left. Ye Changsheng personally took her to the gate of the garden and watched her leave. Back in the study, Ye Changsheng began to plan the preparations for the auction. He decided to prepare more spiritual stones in order to buy suitable Xianlingjin concubines for his sons. 1 month flies by in a blink of an eye. Ye Changsheng followed the invitation's speed and came to the underground auction house of the Zodiac again. As he did last time, he attended the Zodiac. The moment he stepped into the venue, Ye Changsheng couldn't help but be shocked by the sight in front of him. The huge auction hall was packed with people, and every seat was packed. All attendees were dressed in black robes and various Zodiac masks. Looking mysterious and mysterious, Ye Changsheng took a closer look and found that most of the people present were at the Taoist realm. And there were even many 5th level Yashu realm experts. This lineup demonstrates the importance of this auction. Soon the auction officially began. In the previous hour, the auction was mainly for exquisite items from the Purple Mansion realm, including rare treasures such as the blood refined Purple Mansion pill. Next, we entered a 4-level auction. The first auction item is a set of 10 high-grade Daoting pills with a starting price of 100 million spiritual stones. Following the host's order, the venue immediately began to boil. 110 million, 130 million, 150 million. The price rose rapidly like a tide and was finally sold for 270 million spiritual stones. Ye Changsheng was secretly stunned. It was so fierce at the beginning. It seemed that today's competition would be quite fierce. Then there were 10 low-level 4th level Sirius wolves with a starting price of 500 million spiritual stones. These wolves are huge in size, with shiny hair and ferocious momentum, which attracts many people to covet them. After some fierce bidding, the deal was finally sold at a sky-high price of 1.8 billion spiritual stones. A few hours passed, and the auction entered the 4th level of high-quality products. The 10 fairy root fruits provided by Ye Changsheng finally appeared. The host introduced the miraculous effects of immortal root fruit in detail, emphasizing that it can allow users to possess half the Holy Spirit root's qualifications to cultivate immortality within 10 years. As soon as the news came out, the entire auction house was in a state of excitement. The bidding starts for 1 billion spirit stones. Fellow Taoists, please bid, the host shouted. 1 billion. A monk wearing a tiger mask immediately raised his sign. 2 billion. Another nun wearing a rabbit mask followed. 5 billion. A rich male voice came from the back row. The price climbed rapidly and soon exceeded the 2 billion mark. Ye Changsheng observed silently from the side, feeling secretly happy in his heart. It seems that the final auction price of this batch of immortal root fruits far exceeded his expectations. 2.5 billion. A monk wearing a dragon mask shouted in a deep voice. There was an uproar in the venue, and many people began to hesitate whether to continue to bid. Just then, a crisp female voice sounded. 2.8 billion. Ye Changsheng looked in the direction of the voice and found that it was a female cultivator wearing a phoenix mask. Her aura was unfathomable, and she was obviously a strong person who should not be underestimated. 3 billion. The dragon mask monk was not to be outdone and raised the price again. 3.1 billion. The phoenix mask female cultivator did not give in. 3.2 billion. The Dragon Mask Monk gritted his teeth and shouted out this number with a hint of determination in his tone. The whole audience held their breath and waited, and everyone's eyes were focused on the Phoenix Mask female cultivator. However, she was silent for a moment and finally shook her head. 3.2 billion once. 3.2 billion twice. 3.2 billion three times. Deal. The host announced excitedly. Ye Changsheng nodded secretly. This price had far exceeded his expectations. It seems that this generous act not only maintained the relationship with the Zodiac Association, but also brought rich rewards to himself. The next auction entered the 4th level top treasure stage. After several rounds of bidding for the 4th level top spiritual medicine, magic weapons and formations, it finally came to the female cultivator stage that Ye Changsheng was most looking forward to. The host announced with a red face. Next, we will auction 10 beautiful female cultivators with heavenly spiritual roots and foundation building. As soon as this sentence came out, the whole auction hall was boiling instantly. Chapter 397. Assignment of Concubines. Everyone sat up straight and stared intently at the stage. The host began to talk endlessly about the advantages of this group of female cultivators. Fellow Taoists, these 10 female cultivators are not only beautiful in appearance, but also have excellent qualifications. They all have Xianling roots, which means that not only do they practice at an amazing speed, and more importantly, they have a high chance of giving birth to genius offspring. Hearing this, there was an exclamation in the venue. Many monks' breathing became rapid. The starting price is 1 billion spiritual stones. Fellow Taoists, please bid. The host shouted. Ye Changsheng immediately raised a sign. 1 billion, 1 billion, 2 billion. A burly monk wearing a cow mask followed. 5 billion. Another monk wearing a snake mask joined the bidding. The price climbed rapidly and soon exceeded the 2 billion mark. Ye Changsheng secretly calculated in his heart and decided to capture these female cultivators no matter what. 25 billion. Ye Changsheng raised his sign again. 28 billion. The bull mask monk was not to be outdone. 3 billion. The snake mask monk gritted his teeth and increased the price. The atmosphere in the stadium became increasingly tense, and everyone waited with bated breath to see who would win in the end. 3.5 billion. Ye Changsheng took a deep breath and raised his sign again. As soon as the price came out, there was an uproar in the venue. Many people started whispering, obviously shocked by the sky-high price. Both the ox mask monk and the snake mask monk were silent, seeming to be hesitating whether to continue to increase the price. At this moment, a cold female voice sounded. 4 billion. Ye Changsheng looked around and found that it was the Phoenix masked nun who had previously bid for the immortal root fruit. It seems that she is also very interested in this group of Xianling female cultivators. Ye Changsheng took a deep breath, gritted his teeth and shouted, for 2 billion. The whole place fell into silence again, and everyone's eyes were focused on the Phoenix masked female cultivator. However, she just shook her head slightly and gave up bidding. For 2 billion once. For 2 billion twice. For 2 billion three times. Deal. The host announced excitedly. Ye Changsheng breathed a sigh of relief, finally getting his wish and winning these batch of Xianling female cultivators. Although the cost was huge, he felt that everything was worth it when he thought that he could find such an excellent concubine for his sons. The auction continued, and the host announced the auction of 2 groups of 10 Xianling foundation building female cultivators. Ye Changsheng was secretly happy. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He decided to capture both groups of female nuns, no matter what. When the first set of auctions began, Ye Changsheng raised his sign without hesitation. 4 billion. This starting price directly deters most competitors. Only a few monks still persisted, but they were eventually defeated by Ye Changsheng at a price of 4.6 billion. During the second group of auctions, other monks seemed to have realized Ye Changsheng's determination, and the bidding became more intense. But Ye Changsheng still spared no effort, and finally won this group of female cultivators at a sky-high price of 4.8 billion. Just when everyone thought the auction had reached its climax, the host suddenly announced that 3 female cultivators with Holy Spirit roots would be auctioned next. This news was like a bombshell, and the monks present immediately became excited. Holy Spirit root monks are so rare that it is simply unheard of to auction 3 of them at one time. Only then did Ye Changsheng understand what Su Mengli meant by good goods. However, he did not participate in the bidding for these 3 Holy Spirit root nuns. Firstly, it was because he had already spent a huge amount of spiritual stones. And secondly, he felt it was unnecessary. He recalled that when he took the photo of Zukingson, he only spent 1 billion spiritual stones. Zukingson not only had the Holy Spirit root himself, but also gave birth to a son with a Holy Spirit root and a Heavenly Spirit root. In comparison, Ye Changsheng felt that he had made a lot of money. In the end, these 3 Holy Spirit root nuns were auctioned off for about 3 billion each. Ye Changsheng secretly rejoiced. If he participated in the bidding, he would probably bleed again. Ye Changsheng did not participate in the subsequent 5th level treasure auction. At this time, Su Mengli found him and handed him the spiritual stone for auctioning the immortal root fruit. After deducting the auction fees, Ye Changsheng received 2.56 billion spiritual stones. After getting the spirit stone, Ye Changsheng immediately went to the backstage to deliver it. He needed to pay 13.6 billion spirit stones, and a total of 4 billion spirit stones were obtained from the 2 auctions of Immortal Root Fruit and Yunmeng White Pear. Ye Changsheng took out another 96 million high-grade spiritual stones and finally completed the delivery. When Ye Changsheng received 30 Xian Lingjun Foundation building female cultivators, a deacon from the Zodiac Society came forward and offered to provide delivery service. Ye Changsheng readily accepted the proposal. After all, there were so many precious cargoes to be escorted, and it was undoubtedly safer to have someone from the Zodiac Society escort them. Therefore, Ye Changsheng followed dozens of staff from the Zodiac Society and escorted the 30 Xian Lingjun Foundation building female cultivators back to Qinghu Peak. Along the way, Ye Changsheng looked at these female cultivators from time to time, secretly thinking about how to arrange them. Although the cost was huge, he felt that everything was worth it when he thought that he could find such an excellent concubine for his sons. After Ye Changsheng returned to Qinghu Peak with 30 Xian Lingjun Foundation building female cultivators, he immediately summoned all his sons. He stood in the middle of the hall, looked around, and counted his sons present, 18 in total. Looking at these outstanding descendants, Ye Changsheng couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Fortunately, he became more and more selective when choosing his wives, and he was able to leave these 18 sons who all have spiritual roots among these children, except for the youngest Ye Shengyan, who is only 13 years old. The others are all 19 years old and are old enough to have sex. Ye Changsheng cleared his throat and said, "Children, my father has a big happy event to announce today." After hearing this, many sons pricked up their ears and looked at their father curiously. Ye Changsheng continued, "My father has just bought 30 female heavenly spirit root building cultivators from the auction for you, preparing to be your concubines." As soon as these words came out, the whole hall suddenly boiled. Many sons cheered for joy, their faces filled with excitement. Some congratulated each other with high fives, while others began to discuss their favorite genres. Seeing this, Ye Changsheng smiled and raised his hand to signal everyone to quiet down. He said, "Now, let's allocate these concubines. First, each of you 18, from oldest to youngest, choose one first." So, starting from the eldest Ye Changsheng, each son stepped forward to choose a concubine. Some choose those with outstanding appearance, while others prefer those with unique temperament. Everyone looked at their choices with anticipation. After the first round of allocation, Ye Changsheng said, "Next, each of the 7 people with double spiritual roots and above will choose one more." The 7 gifted sons came forward happily, and each selected a concubine. Chapter 398 Selling Fire God Fruit. The smiles on their faces became brighter, and they were obviously very satisfied with their father's preference. Then, the 3 people with heavenly spiritual roots, each of them will choose one more. Ye Changsheng continued. The 3 sons were ecstatic and quickly stepped forward to choose point after the distribution here. There were still 2 concubines left. Ye Changsheng looked at the youngest son Ye Changsheng and said gently, Changsheng, you choose another one. Ye Changsheng stepped forward shyly and chose one of the remaining 2 concubines. In the end, there was only 1 concubine and 2 sons, Ye Changru and Ye Changtang with heavenly spiritual roots. Ye Changsheng smiled and said, you two, use rock paper scissors to decide who will choose the last one. Ye Changru and Ye Changtang looked at each other and then started the rock paper scissors competition. After 3 rounds of fierce competition, Ye Changtang finally won with a slight advantage. He excitedly chose the last concubine and became the lucky one with 4 heavenly spiritual roots in the foundation building period. After the distribution was completed, Ye Changsheng called Zhu Kingson again. He specifically reminded, Kingson, you have to take good care of Chang'an. He is still young, don't let him sleep with the concubine with heavenly spiritual roots too early, so as not to affect his cultivation. Zhu Kingson heard this and readily agreed, don't worry, husband, I will take good care of Chang'an. She was secretly delighted in her heart, grateful for her husband's thoughtfulness and consideration for his son's future. Ye Changsheng also reminded his many sons, you must treat these concubines well. They are all heavenly spiritual roots and will definitely help you in the future. At the same time, you must be restrained and not indulge in women and delay your cultivation. Many sons responded in unison, with both excitement and solemnity on their faces. Ye Changsheng nodded with satisfaction and waved his hand to indicate that everyone could leave with their concubines. Watching his sons leave happily, Ye Changsheng was filled with relief. He believed that this laid a good foundation for the future reproduction of the family. Ye Changsheng watched his sons leave happily with satisfaction, and his heart was filled with relief. He believed that this laid a good foundation for the future reproduction of the family. After handling family affairs, Ye Changsheng returned to his retreat room. He sat cross-legged, took a deep breath, and his mind moved, and his consciousness instantly entered the fairy tree space. A familiar scene came into view, and various lush spiritual fruit trees still stood tall and majestic, emitting a faint spiritual light. Ye Changsheng approached the spiritual fruit tree, stroked the trunk, and felt the majestic vitality contained in it. In the past few years, he has accumulated 2 drops of 5th level fairy dew in the fairy tree space. Ye Changsheng took out an exquisite jade bottle, which contained crystal clear fairy dew, flashing charming light in the sun. After thinking for a while, Ye Changsheng decided to give birth to the fire god fruit this time. He had given birth to the 5th level longevity peach twice before and sold it in the heavenly palace. In order to avoid attracting the covetousness of unknown bigwigs in the heavenly palace, he felt it necessary to change the category of induced birth. Ye Changsheng took out a fiery red fruit from his storage bag, the fire god fruit. He carefully used a secret method to take out the fruit core, then chose an empty spiritual land and gently placed the fruit core on it. Taking a deep breath, Ye Changsheng opened the jade bottle and slowly dripped a drop of 5th level fairy dew on the fruit core. In an instant, a dazzling light flashed, and the fairy dew and the fruit core merged into one. In the blink of an eye, a lush 5th level fire god fruit tree rose from the ground and grew rapidly. The trunk is thick, the branches and leaves are lush, and it exudes a faint flame. On the crown of the tree, 9 red and shining fire god fruits have matured and exuded an attractive aroma. Ye Changsheng nodded with satisfaction. As a 5th level top grade spiritual fruit, the fire god fruit has a great effect of strengthening the foundation and nourishing the essence for fire spiritual root cultivators and fire spirit beasts. After taking it, both cultivators and spirit beasts have a high probability of breaking through to a higher level. Because of this, the fire god fruit has always been a rare and expensive item in the world of cultivation. Carefully picking 9 fire god fruits, Ye Changsheng took out one of them and took out the core again. He repeated the previous steps and gave birth to another 5th level fire god fruit tree. This time, 8 fire god fruits were harvested. Ye Changsheng carefully put the 16 fire god fruits into an exquisite jade box. He gently stroked the jade box, secretly calculating how much profit this batch of fire god fruits could bring him. With a thought, Ye Changsheng left the fairy tree space and returned to the retreat room in the real world. He got up and came to the altar of the heavenly palace deep in the retreat room, and his mind entered the heavenly palace. The next moment, Ye Changsheng appeared on the fourth to last floor of the heavenly palace. He came to the spiritual medicine shop that sold the 5th level longevity peaches. Before pushing the door open, a crisp bell rang. The store displays a variety of spiritual medicines, exuding a faint medicinal fragrance. Welcome. An old man with a kind face came up to greet him. He was the shopkeeper of the store. Ye Changsheng bowed his hands, then took out a fire god fruit from the jade box and asked, "Shopkeeper, I wonder how many spiritual stones you will take for this fire god fruit." The old man took the fire god fruit, looked at it carefully, and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. He pondered for a moment and said, "My fellow Taoist, your fire god fruit is of excellent quality. We are willing to buy it at the price of 25 million high quality spiritual stones." Ye Changsheng was secretly happy when he heard this price. This price was much higher than he expected. He smiled and nodded. "Okay, then let's do it at this price. I still have 15 here. I wonder if the shopkeeper can take them all." The old man was overjoyed when he heard this and nodded repeatedly. "Of course. If you are willing to sell all of them, we will definitely treat you well." In this way, Ye Changsheng sold all 16 fire god fruits and earned an astonishing profit of 400 million high quality spirit stones. After the transaction was completed, he said goodbye to the shopkeeper and left the spirit medicine shop. Walking on the streets of the heavenly palace, Ye Changsheng was in a good mood. He took a deep breath, activated the magic circle on his body, and his figure gradually dissipated and returned to the retreat room in the real world. After returning from the heavenly palace, Ye Changsheng rested in the retreat room for a few days in a good mood. During this time, he carefully savored the success of this transaction, and at the same time, he was thinking about how to better manage the affairs of King Hu Peak. A few days later, Ye Changsheng summoned Ye Changsheng to discuss the new monthly salary of King Hu Peak. In the spacious meeting room, Ye Changsheng and Ye Changsheng sat face to face, with a pot of tea and a few plates of snacks on the table. "Uncle Jing, King Hu Peak has been developing very well recently. I think it's time to adjust everyone's monthly salary." Ye Changsheng said straight to the point. Ye Changsheng nodded respectfully. "The head of the family is wise. Indeed, as King Hu Peak's strength increases, increasing the monthly salary can better motivate everyone to practice. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 399 Adjusting Salaries. Ye Changsheng smiled and nodded, then elaborated on his new monthly salary system. "This is what I think. The annual salary of a wife who enters the Dao court is 200 million spirit stones. The annual salary of a wife in the Purple Mansion period is 20 million spirit stones. The annual salary of children and daughters-in-law in the Purple Mansion period is 10 million spirit stones. The annual salary of children and daughters-in-law in the Foundation establishment period is 2 million spirit stones, and the annual salary of children in the Key refining period is 500,000 spirit stones." After hearing this, Ye Changsheng's eyes flashed with surprise, but he quickly regained his composure. He thought about it carefully, and then said, "Master, this plan is very good. However, should we also consider the treatment of the maids?" Ye Changsheng nodded in agreement. "You are right. Regarding the maids, this is what I think. The annual salary of the maids in the Purple Mansion period is 1 million spirit stones. The annual salary of the maids in the Foundation establishment period is 500,000 spirit stones. And the annual salary of the maids in the Key refining period is 100,000 spirit stones. What do you think?" Ye Changsheng smiled approvingly. "The master is very thoughtful. Such treatment is enough to make the maids feel valued, and can also motivate them to practice harder." The 2 discussed some details, such as how to announce the new monthly salary system, and how to deal with possible dissatisfaction. Ye Changsheng handed Ye Changsheng another 52 million high-grade spirit stones, equivalent to 5.2 billion spirit stones. This way, Ye Changsheng still has 400 million high-grade spirit stones in his hand. Finally, Ye Changsheng made the decision. It's settled. Changsheng, you are responsible for conveying this message. If there are any problems, report to me in time. Ye Changsheng responded respectfully, yes, master. I will definitely handle it properly. After the discussion, Ye Changsheng returned to his retreat room. He has been in the doubting period for more than 4 years, and has completely stabilized the realm of the first level of the doubting period. Now, he is ready to start practicing the magical power, one of the most important fighting abilities in the doubting period. Ye Changsheng sat cross-legged on the futon, opened the Taizu Niuan Sutra, and carefully read the magical powers recorded on it. He knew the importance of magical powers, and some powerful magical powers were no less powerful than magic weapons. After careful consideration, Ye Changsheng decided to practice 3 magical powers first. Tai True Fire, which is more powerful among the fire magical powers, Bilo Wangu among the wood magical powers, and Tegazuan Huang among the earth magical powers. Ye Changsheng started practicing Tai True Fire first. This is an extremely domineering fire type magical power. It is said that its power can burn everything, even space. Ye Changsheng followed the instructions of the scriptures and began to condense the fire attributed spiritual power in his body. As time went on, a faint purple flame beat in his palm, emitting amazing heat. Next, Ye Changsheng turned to practice Bilo Wangu. This is a highly defensive wood type magical power that can summon a magical forest, which can not only resist the enemy's attack, but also absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. To nourish the practitioner, Ye Changsheng circulated the wood attributed spiritual power, and gradually, a miniature emerald green forest formed around him, exuding vitality. Finally, Ye Changsheng began to practice Tegazuan Huan. This is a powerful earth attributed magical power that can control the power of the earth and even cause earthquakes. Ye Changsheng condensed the earth attributed spiritual power and felt the pulse of the earth. Slowly, the ground around him began to shake slightly, as if responding to his call. Practicing these 3 magical powers is not a matter of one day or one night. Ye Changsheng spent a lot of time practicing every day, constantly improving his control over these magical powers. Sometimes, he would encounter bottlenecks, but he was always able to break through the difficulties through meditation and comprehension of scriptures and the intervals between practice. Ye Changsheng did not forget to pay attention to the affairs of King Hu Peak. From time to time, he would ask Ye Changsheng about the implementation of the new monthly salary system to ensure that everything was running normally. In this way, time passed day by day. Ye Changsheng's cultivation was steadily improving, and the 3 magical powers gradually took shape. As time went by, Ye Changsheng's progress in practicing magical powers became faster and faster. He realized that in order to master these powerful magical powers faster, his own efforts alone were not enough. So, he decided to use some external forces to speed up the process. Ye Changsheng took out 2 precious spiritual fruits from his storage bag, the 4th level upper grade Washan fruit and the 4th level upper grade magical fruit. These 2 spiritual fruits were all spawned by him in the fairy tree space before, and they have been kept for emergency use. Now is the best time to use them. He first took a fruit of enlightenment and immediately felt a cool breath spreading in his mind, and his thinking became clearer than ever before. Then, he took another fruit of supernatural power, and the spiritual power in his body immediately became active, as if it had its own consciousness, and began to actively cooperate with his supernatural power. Practice. With the help of these 2 spiritual fruits, Ye Changsheng's practice speed was greatly improved. The skills that originally required repeated attempts to master can now be integrated with just a little practice. The contents of the scriptures that once confused him also became clear and easy to understand at this moment. In this way, time flies, and 4 years have passed in a blink of an eye. During this period, Ye Changsheng devoted almost all his energy to the practice of supernatural powers. Whenever he felt tired or encountered a bottleneck, he would take a fruit of enlightenment or supernatural power to recover and break through the difficulties. After 4 years of hard practice, Ye Changsheng has made great progress in mastering the 3 supernatural powers that i.e. true fire was able to change freely under his control and form various shapes. The forest summoned by Bilao Wangu was getting larger and larger, and its defense was getting stronger and stronger, and Tegazuan Huang could easily control the terrain of several miles. Just when Ye Changsheng was about to continue to study these magical powers in depth, an unexpected visitor interrupted his practice. "Master, there are guests visiting," a maid respectfully reported outside the door. Ye Changsheng was slightly startled, then remembered something, and smiled. He tidied his clothes and walked out of the practice room. The visitor was Ye Changsheng, the leader of the 5 heroes of Zifu before Jinggang Fortress. After many years, Ye Changsheng was still elegant and outstanding. "Brother Changfeng, how are you?" Ye Changsheng greeted him warmly. Ye Changfeng smiled and bowed in return. "Brother Ye, long time no see. Congratulations on your advancement to the Dao court." Ye Changsheng smiled modestly. No, I'm far behind you, Brother Changfeng. Come in, I have prepared a spiritual feast to entertain you." The two walked and talked and came to a quiet courtyard. A rich spiritual feast had already been set up here, with all kinds of rare spiritual fruits and spiritual wines. Ye Changsheng specially took out a pot of 4th grade high quality enlightenment tea and poured it for Ye Changfeng personally. "This is a good tea that I have collected for many years. Today I specially took it out to entertain Brother Changfeng." Chapter 400, Dragon Jade Fairy City. Ye Changfeng took the teacup, took a sip, and his eyes suddenly lit up. "Good tea. The quality of this enlightenment tea is probably close to the top level of the 4th level, right? Brother Ye is really good at it." The two of them just drank tea and chatted freely, talking about everything from cultivating their minds to world affairs. Time flies, and 3 days and 3 nights have passed in the blink of an eye. During this period, Ye Changsheng discovered that Ye Changfeng seemed to be worried. It wasn't until the night of the 3rd day that Ye Changfeng finally revealed the true purpose of his trip. "Brother Ye, actually during this visit, besides reminiscing about old times, there is one more thing I want to ask you for help with." Ye Changfeng looked slightly solemn. Ye Changsheng put down his teacup and said seriously, "Brother Changfeng, it doesn't matter. As long as I can do it, I will definitely help you with all my strength." Ye Changfeng took a deep breath and said, "That's it. I recently opened a new store in Ye, the 6th level immortal city, which is the center of the Longnan Great Immortal Realm. It specializes in selling 4th level treasures. Among them, the 4th level spiritual fruit is our main product. I came here just to ask Brother Ye if he could provide some rare 4th level spiritual fruits." After hearing this, Ye Changsheng nodded thoughtfully. Ye Changfeng continued, "I know that you have a great opportunity, Brother Ye, but I will never covet it. I want to cooperate with you and earn spiritual stones together. You know, Langayu Fairy City is one of the 26th level big cities in our Longnan world. There is a fairy city built by the 2 factions. The real 6th level spiritual veins have 6th level spiritual powers stationed there all year round, and there are countless high level monks. That is the real center of Longnan, and there are endless business opportunities. Brother Ye's 4th level spiritual fruits will definitely be sold there. High prices that can't be found anywhere else." After hearing what Ye Changfeng said, Ye Changfeng couldn't help but feel excited. He secretly calculated that he had stored 75 drops of 4th level fairy dew, but he had never put it to use. With the improvement of cultivation level, more and more places need to use spirit stones if it can produce some precious 4th level spiritual fruits and sell them. It is indeed a good choice. After thinking for a moment, Ye Changsheng made a decision. "Okay, I agree to cooperate with Brother Changfeng. However, we need to further discuss the specific details." Ye Changfeng was overjoyed when he heard this. "Great. With Brother Ye's help, my shop will definitely be able to gain a foothold in Langayu Fairy City." After agreeing on the cooperation, Ye Changsheng placed Ye Changfeng in a quiet courtyard to rest. And he himself came to the fairy tree space again. preparing to give birth to a batch of precious 4th level spiritual fruits. This time, Ye Changsheng planned to give birth to 10 kinds of precious 4th level spiritual fruits. They are Immortal Root Fruit, Ultimate Spirit Fruit, Enlightenment Fruit, Huanglian Yemeng Fruit, Zixuling Peach, Yunmeng White Pear, Zuanhuang Fruit, and Buddha Light Fruit. In addition, Ye Changsheng also made a special trip to the Heavenly Palace and purchased 2 new 4th level high grade spiritual fruits, the 7 Soul Fruit and the God Fruit. The 7 Soul Fruit can greatly enhance the soul power of 4th level Taoist monks, while the Heavenly God Fruit can effectively break through the bottleneck from the middle to the late Taoist stage. These 10 kinds of spiritual fruits are all 4th level high grade or even top level 4th level spiritual fruits, and each one is priceless. Ye Changsheng spent 70 drops of 4th level fairy dew to promote the birth of these spiritual fruits after some hard work, except for the 4th level top spiritual fruit Zixia Spirit Peach, which gave birth to 63. The other 9 spiritual fruits successfully gave birth to 84. Early the next morning, Ye Changsheng handed these spiritual fruits to Ye Changfeng. When he told the functions, efficacy, and value of these spiritual fruits one by one, Ye Changfeng was so surprised that he was speechless. Brother, you opened my eyes again. Ye Changfeng took a deep breath and tried to calm down his excitement. I thought I was well informed, but I didn't expect to be shocked by you again. It seems that your family is really rich. With these spiritual fruits, my shop can be. We have a lot of treasures in store. Ye Changsheng smiled and waved his hand. Brother Changfeng, thank you. Although these spiritual fruits are precious, they are probably not a rarity in a place like Langaiyu Fairy City. Ye Changfeng shook his head repeatedly. Brother Ye is too humble. No matter where these spiritual fruits are placed, they are extremely precious treasures. With them, our cooperation will definitely achieve great success. The two discussed the sales strategy and profit distribution plan in detail. Finally, Ye Changfeng said goodbye happily. Before leaving, they agreed to meet every 5 years to deliver new spiritual fruits and settle the spiritual stones from the previous spiritual fruits. Looking at Ye Changfeng's retreating figure, Ye Changsheng's heart was filled with anticipation. This cooperation will not only bring him considerable spiritual stone income, but more importantly, it will open a door to a wider world for him. As the center of the Longnan world, Langaiyu Fairy City must contain unlimited opportunities. Ye Changsheng took a deep breath, turned around and returned to his training room. He once again immersed himself in the research of supernatural powers, and was fully prepared for future challenges. Ye Changsheng came to the Heavenly Palace again. This time he went directly to the 4th floor from the bottom of the Heavenly Palace. This level is far more prosperous than the levels below, and the auras of the monks coming and going are extremely extraordinary, and most of them are strong men in the 5th level Yashu realm. Ye Changsheng strolled on the street and soon found a shop specializing in selling 5th level elixirs. The store's facade is not large, but the decoration is extremely exquisite. A plaque reading Sacred Spiritual Medicine Pavilion hangs at the door. Pushing the door open, a strong spiritual energy hit your face. The furnishings in the store are simple and elegant, and various rare elixirs are properly preserved in special jade boxes. What does this fellow Taoist need? An old man with a kind face walked out of the inner hall and asked with a smile. Ye Changsheng bowed and saluted. I would like to ask if your store has 5th level spiritual fruits for sale. The old man's eyes flashed with surprise, and then he smiled and said, Dao, we do have several 5th level spiritual fruits here. Please follow me. He took Ye Changsheng to a secret room and took out 3 exquisite jade boxes. This is the 5th level top grade spiritual fruit, the Billow Fruit, which can greatly enhance the soul power of the 5th level Yashu realm cultivator. The old man opened the first jade box, and inside lay a crystal clear fruit, emitting a faint blue light. This is the 5th level top grade divine fruit, which can temporarily enhance a person's spiritual route to the holy product, and the effect is up to 30 years. The fruit in the second jade box showed a colorful light, which looked extremely magical. The last one is the 5th level top grade spiritual fruit, the Royal God Fruit, which can help Yashu realm cultivators to realize the Tao for up to 10 years. The Fruit in the third jade box was golden all over, exuding a strong Taoist charm. After hearing the introduction, Ye Changsheng couldn't help but secretly smack his lips. The effects of these spiritual fruits are indeed amazing. No wonder they are so precious. I wonder how much these spiritual fruits cost. Ye Changsheng asked. The old man smiled and said, Bluo fruit is 20 million high-grade spiritual stones, Shenyi fruit is 30 million high-grade spiritual stones, and Huangshen fruit is 40 million high-grade spiritual stones. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.